Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Why are you laughing?
Did you just crack a joke?
I don't know. I'm thrown off.
I got those
What's
steel gray on. Skip, how I look today?
It just doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
It
how you
does
look.
matter.
It's relevant what comes out of your mouth, which is always dubious at best.
Look good, debate better.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think that's how it worked.
That's how it worked for me.
It's a new one?
Real good.
New one. Everyone looks great today. We have a lot to get to on today's show. Does Steve Kerr need to keep quiet? And these guys are going to make very early Super Bowl picks, but we are going to start with the Clippers. They were at the center of the NBA universe yesterday with the first look of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George in LA. We learned a lot, including both superstars said they actually grew up as Clipper fans. Kawhi told our friend Chris Haynes that he did not lead anyone on in free agency and was close to signing with the Lakers. But when the Clippers were able to trade for Paul, he, quote, jumped for it. Kawhi also said he was not the architect of the deal, as people have claimed. And Paul even said that his departure from OKC was a mutual decision. So, Shannon, what was your biggest takeaway from yesterday?
Skip Bayless, I want to ask you one thing. Are these guys basketball players or pastry chefs? Because both of them yesterday were serving up fresh baked lies.
Lies?
Lies.
Wow.
Both of them lied. Let me start with Paul George. Skip, I have no problem with Paul George because I've been very player-friendly, football, basketball, baseball. I'm very much on the side of the player.
Unless they're on the team you don't like. But go ahead. Yeah.
And if you're unhappy in your situation, you should go to management and says, okay, I'm unhappy.
Yeah.
Just like management comes to you sometimes and say, we're moving on. Skip, for him to sit up there on that stage and tell that bold-faced lie, Russ, Sam Presti, and Mr. Clay Bennett, we were in agreement. It was time to part ways. No, it didn't. You went to Sam Presti and said, trade me to the Clippers. And then once that surfaced, Sam's like, you know what? I don't want to have to deal with this. Paul, because it's going to get out eventually, Skip, and have to deal with this throughout the entirety of the season. Let me see what I can extract from the Clippers, and then, okay, we're going to move on. Okay, that's how that happened.
He said it got stagnant after a year in Oklahoma City.
Hold on, Skip. Now, he stood up on the stage, smoking stogies. You know, we're going to win, and we're going to do all this. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, Paul George, a year ago, was a free agent. Am I correct? He could have gone to the Clippers. I believe if he goes to the Clippers, Skip, he's like, I want to sign with the Clippers. They're going to move the necessary pieces to make it fit. Now, maybe, could it have fit? I don't know, but they did trade Chris Paul. Maybe they'd have to move another piece because they already traded Chris Paul before the season started. So they might have would have had to move another piece. But if Paul George goes to the Clippers and says, I want to come here, they're going to move the pieces to make sure they can get a Paul George. Now, let me talk to old Kawhi. Kawhi. You see, Skip?
I thought you loved him.
I do. And I have no problem in what he did. Got no problem. But you see what happened, Skip Bayless? This is what's occurring here. LeBron James is the crash test dummy. He's informed players how not to do certain things. Because LeBron has been powerful for so long, any transaction that happened in his organization, what do they feel, Skip? He pulled the trigger. Well, Kawhi doesn't want that kind of backlash. So he's like, I had nothing to do with it. We know what good and well. Kawhi went to the Clippers and said, if you can get me another superstar, because he's asking for KD. He asking for Jimmy Butler. He asked Kyrie. It was reported that he asked for, is James Harden available? Someone else, I forget who it was. Were they available? So we know this happened. So for him to say, well, I had nothing to do with this, and if you think I had something to do with it, I maybe should get a front office job. Stop it, Kawhi. Just own it. I got no problem. Skip, I had a homeboy, I think we was in like the 7th grade, and every day he come to school with a pocket full of gum. And I know he ain't got no money. I'm like, bruh, how you keep coming to school every day with all this gum? He said, I steal it. He was upfront with me. He honest. He wasn't going to sit there and bulljive me and say, man, I paid for it. No, you stole it. Kawhi, just own it. You told the Clippers, if you can get me a second superstar, Paul George or anybody, I'll sign with you. Paul George, just admit, Once Kawhi put that bug in my ear, bro, I really want to go to the Clips. And if you can get there, bro, I think we can be a heck of a tandem, and that'll be great. It's all gravy. Just own it.
Okay.
But I sure wish Paul George would get some of that old criticism that Anthony Davis is getting. Because if I'm not mistaken, is he on the contract? Then he got a couple of years left. I sure wish you can get some of that, Skip. But you see what's happened? See, the difference is they both committed crimes. Now, Anthony Davis went into a bank with a gun and everybody saw it. Oh, Paul George did old cyber crime. He hacked into somebody's old bank account and stole all their money. Both of them did the exact same thing. One was a little quieter than the other. Remember I said, Skip, you can steal more at gunpoint. You can steal more at ballpoint than you can at gunpoint. They need to stop this. I got no problem with what they did. I'm happy for the Clippers. Everybody was excited. There's a lot of buzz, and rightfully so.
A lot of buzz.
But Skip, don't sit up there and lie and talk about, oh, I had nothing to do with this, and we are all in agreement this was the best for everybody. No, it wasn't.
So, you could be right that they rearranged the truth a little bit here and there.
Okay,
you could be right. I must admit, I was astounded and highly skeptical that both number 2 and Paul George claimed that they grew up Clippers fans.
Yeah.
But then I scoured back through internet backlogs, and I think they both were Clippers fans growing up. And number 2 went so far as to say he did not like the Lakers when he was growing up in the 90s in Southern California. So after I was skeptical, I'm going to buy into that. Now, the Paul George situation, you make a good case because what happened was he took 1 year with Russ and he decided exactly what Kevin Durant decided. I just can't win with this guy as my primary decision maker, but he had one big plus on his side. The architect of the Oklahoma City Thunder, Sam Presti, decided the same thing. Like, I can't win with this. Sam Presti was ready to blow it up, which blows up your theory because Paul George became quickly available because Russ was available to be shipped to Houston, right? So I can't condemn.
Was it before or after?
I think it was right on. I think Sam Presti had already decided it's time. I got to start completely over. And again, Sam Presti, as Paul George pointed out, he got quite a haul for shipping out both players, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Oklahoma City started over. So that meant that I can't completely condemn Paul George for what he pulled off, a la what AD pulled off, okay? So we're going to get to that in a little bit here. Now, big picture takeaway for me as I watched this unfold yesterday. And I went into it just wide-eyed, like I don't know what's going to happen. I want to see what number 2 does. Is he going to be in the spotlight? Not really, because Paul George was the alpha up there on the podium. Paul George took over and had more of the comments, though the more pointed comments actually did come quietly from number 2. Did he bamboozle the Lakers? You better believe he did. Did he bamboozle Toronto? You better buy that he did. But yesterday, in his, he goes into his sort of shy kid speak. He's kind of getting down, I don't know. And it's kind of shifty-eyed, and he doesn't want to look at anybody. But he said some strong things that I'm about to get to. Here's my big takeaway. The night of July 5th, 2 big things happened here in Southern California. About 8 p.m. Pacific time, we got rocked with the biggest earthquake we've been hit with here in 20 years. It was a 7.1, and you were fortunate you missed it.
I heard about it.
You heard about it, but it was pretty serious business in my household, I can tell you that.
It was.
And then about 2 hours passed, and just when I thought things had settled down, we got another bombshell dropped on us.
Might have been 8.0.
It was maybe a 10, man. I still can't get it through my head that number 2 bamboozled the Lakers and Toronto, and he's a Clipper. And yesterday, there was another seismic shift, I felt like, in the Southern California marketplace, because my takeaway was that all of a sudden, the stable franchise is the one that used to be the dysfunctional laughing stock. The Clippers, who were the stepchild for so many years, by far the second team, the other team in LA, suddenly became not only the team in LA, they're the team in the NBA. By most websites and by most sports books in Vegas, they are the favorite to win the championship. And the more I watched yesterday, the more it dawned on me, unfortunately, I've got to say, and maybe he can fight his way out of this, LeBron is now playing for the other team in LA. He's now playing for what I consider more of a dysfunctional laughingstock, the Lakers, run by Jeannie Buss and Linda Rambis and Kurt Rambis and Rob Pelinka. They're the second team in LA in dysfunction and laughingstock.
If you don't mind me asking, what could the Mets possibly do to overtake the Yankees? What could the Jets possibly do to overtake the Giants? This will always be Laker Central.
So, for proof here, I have the column written by my friend Bill Plaschke, who's been covering LA sports for 30 plus years and has been a longtime columnist for the LA Times. And if I can quote here from Bill, he says,
What'd he say?
Listening to those two guys talk, it was clear they joined the Clippers because the Clippers were everything the Lakers are currently not.
Yeah.
Championship coach, steady front office, and a culture not driven by stars. And also, if we go back to the first remark out of number two's mouth yesterday, he says, he was asked about the Clippers, and he says, I mean, as far as the last few years, as far as the basketball standpoint, the Clippers have been better. Well, he was just stating the truth.
That was
Wait
right.
a second, I got a stat for you here. Do you realize that your Lakers,
Yeah.
LeBron's Lakers, have now missed the playoffs for 6 straight years?
Has he been there all
do you,
6?
do you, No, he has not, but this is the team he joined. This is the team he is the face of.
Without a star.
Do you realize that the Lakers over those 6 seasons are tied with the Knicks for the worst record in the NBA?
Yeah.
Think about that. Wow. They're at the bottom of the barrel right now, tied with the Knicks for the worst record. Do you realize over that span of time, the last 6 years, the Clippers have the 5th best record in the NBA? Mm-hmm. So they've been kind of a perennial playoff team. They've been a factor.
Well, Skip, that was,
right?
Of all the things that he said, that was the most truthful statement that I believe Kawhi uttered. Okay. And he's not lying, because you look at top to bottom, you take the CEO, the owner, Steve Ballmer. Skip, if he can run Microsoft, he can damn sure run the Clippers.
Okay.
Jerry West, Bob the Builder, he built the Lakers.
Keep going.
He built
keep
Memphis.
going.
He
keep
helped
going.
build Golden
keep
State.
going.
And then you got championship
Keep
coach
going.
Doc Rivers.
Keep going.
It's not
I
a
know.
lie. It's
That's
fact.
what I felt like.
Yes.
That's why Bill Plaschke wrote yesterday, Lob City always felt hokey, and that was the Chris Paul, Blake Griffin.
Right.
And it was always like, we're trying hard, we're trying to be the Lakers,
Right.
but we can't be because we're not built right. And Plaschke finally comes to this conclusion. This feels real. This feels like it could have some traction. This feels like a city is going to start paying closer attention to the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah, but Skip, the thing is about Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, they were talented players, but Kawhi Leonard is a 2-time Finals MVP.
Okay.
Paul George is a legit player. So now you have elite level players, and you get Doc, and Doc now he has something to work. Not to say that he didn't.
I saw a stat, I think it was on SportsCenter, where last year, I didn't even know this, in points per touch, number 2 was number 1 in the league, and Paul George, wait a second, I think it's the other way around. Paul George was number 1, and number 2 was number 2 in points per touch.
Right.
Well, that means you got 2 top fivers, right? And you went boom, boom, and it's been years since any NBA team was able to go boom, boom, and get 2 of the top 5, right?
2 guys that average over 25 points change teams in the offseason.
Okay, it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
It's why Doc was using the word yesterday. This feels like a movement to me. A movement?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Circle that.
But-
Something's happening here.
But you know what time it is. 3-2-3 will always trump the 2-1-3.
Okay, but what did Doc do?
Yeah, he
Fittingly,
tried to-
he rearranged the jersey order to 2-1-3.
Yeah.
2-1-3 is the original early downtown LA area code. When I worked here in the 1970s, it was the only area code. It was 2-1-3. Number 2 and number 1-3. Aha! Maybe they're on to something.
Good, that was Skip. But Skip, you know, but give me this. The reason why both guys don't want to take responsibility is because they saw the fallout that happened with LeBron James. This is what we know. Okay, LeBron James, he made the decision. So everybody knows we're not making a decision. We might tweet it on IG or put it on Twitter, but we're not going to have a sit down and says, moving forward, I will be taking my services to such and such.
Okay.
We're not going to do that. Okay, LeBron took a ding here. No, we got to stay away from that. Oh, he took a ding over there. Because what we're seeing is that when you get power, people automatically assume you're just, what's the,
Marionette?
yeah, Pinocchio, what was his handler?
Puppeteer?
No, what was his handler name? Geppetto.
Geppetto.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They think you're Geppetto. You're pulling the strings, Skip Bayless.
Yep.
Kawhi doesn't want that. You said it now, Skip. now everybody was thinking it was Uncle Dennis. Lo and behold, he moving Uncle Dennis. Paul George gonna sit there and say, I'm trying to figure out, Skip, now you know this, we heard nothing about Paul George being on the market until he had that old secret meeting in Westlake at a hotel that the Lakers went to visit Kawhi. And then all of a sudden, Sam Preston, now granted, Sam was like, maybe you're right, Skip, maybe they were thinking about this. But Paul George wasn't available until he made himself available saying, Sam, I want out. And then Sam was like, thank you. Because that's why they're calling around. They're calling around to see who they compare. I'm not thinking you compare a guy that got 3 years left on his deal.
I'm with you. Shannon, LeBron just got out LeBroned by number 2. Or Uncle Dennis or both. You got out LeBron.
That's what I'm saying. Just own it. That's all I'm just saying. I ain't got no, Skip, I'm happy. I got no problem with what Paul did or what Kawhi did, but I just need you to own that. Don't hide.
Okay, but I didn't feel that they were hiding yesterday because Paul George said, I think the Lakers are the Lakers. We've got our own identity. We're chasing something else. We're not looking at the Battle of L.A. We got bigger things in mind, bigger goals to accomplish. So, is that not the perfect thing to say yesterday?
It is the perfect thing to say. So, in other words, do you believe Kawhi Leonard had anything to do with Paul George being at the Clippers?
Sure.
But he said he wasn't an architect. So is that a lie or isn't it?
Okay, I'll buy that. Yeah. And what?
One lie uttered is enough to cast doubt in all subsequent statements. So what am I to believe? When he said that, I was thinking about if he hadn't been here, I was going to be a Laker.
Okay, but
we supposed to believe that?
Did they back off? Did they shy away from a championship goal?
No.
All that number 2 said yesterday was, I came here because I wanted to make history. He didn't want to join where Showtime had created the Lakers. He wanted to start over. He said, we want to build our own. Well, that takes a measure of guts, right?
Absolutely.
I'm not debating that. I got no problem. If you want to go it alone, you want to do whatever. Kawhi is already a 2-time champ, a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's 100% first ballot lock Hall of Famer. He's a made man already. Anything he gets after that is like layers on the cake. We got a 14-layer cake, we just stack it. When is enough? I got no problem. But don't say you're not the architect. You did this. You went to Jerry West and said, you can get me another superstar, I will sign. Paul George, you called Sam Presti. Sam Presti didn't call you, said, Paul, I'm moving you.
No.
That's all I'm saying, Skip.
Did the planets align in Oklahoma City? I think they did.
It was a perfect scenario because Sam Presti realized this combination is not going to win a championship. And I'm I'm putting Clay Bennett in luxury tax hell.
That is correct.
For something that we're never going to be.
He thought it's time for me to start over.
Right. Paul George made it easy for Sam Presti.
He did.
Sam Presti looks like the good guy in this.
Yeah, I agree.
Paul George sometimes looked like he didn't get the same. We're going to talk about 80 later. He's not getting the backlash, but he got 2 years left on his deal. And he called Sam Presti and said, Sam, I want out. I want to go. And did he say, I want to go to Boston? Did he say, I want to go to Sacramento or New Orleans? Where did he say he wanted to go, Skip? It's funny.
And what did the Clippers offer back?
Skip.
The sun and the moon and Jupiter and Mars right?
It's funny how all of a sudden Kawhi Leonard is a free agent, and one of the teams that he's interested in is the very team. How did Paul George know that? How did Paul George know that the Clippers? He's the very team. Hey, Sam, you know what, bro? This thing ain't working for me. I want out. Can you get me to the Clippers? Why the Clippers? Why the Clippers? Why not Toronto? Why not the Lakers? Oh, exactly.
Shannon, you got bamboozled?
No, Skip. I got no Skip. Look, I got no problem with that. Yes, he was extending it because he was giving the Clippers an opportunity to find another piece that they could put with him on this board.
Yep.
No problem whatsoever. My only problem is just own it. That's all I'm saying. Paul George says, look here. This was an opportunity too good to pass up. To play alongside a guy that's only a year difference, a two-way player like myself, an elite player, a championship caliber player, Skip, this was an opportunity I just had to take. And when I talked to Kawhi, and Kawhi said, bro, we can do this. I'm all for it. Kawhi, bro, I got the power. I just took down the defending champs 2 times.
Yep.
So I'm all powerful. He was growing on that. Yeah, that's what I did. So what and what?
Okay, so Paul George was able to say, Russ was very happy for me. Well, he was once Russ figured out he gets to go to James, then he's happy,
That's
right?
good.
He wasn't happy that you left him all alone there.
For a minute, he wasn't happy until he figured out about a day later, wasn't it? A couple of days later, I can go.
Because think about how excited he was that you were staying. He threw you a big celebration. And now all of a sudden, Russ happy for me. Russ like, man, I just spent 100 racks, 100 bands.
He did.
Fooling with you. Had a big old stage, invited everybody. We on stage smoking cigars, talking about we gonna bring, this is where I wanted to be. I want to bring a championship. But Skip Bayless, if you notice something, I heard something, and this told me everything I need to know about Paul George. Now, when he was already in Indiana, and with the 15th pick was Kawhi Leonard. He said, what are y'all doing? I was worried. That's why he wouldn't go play with LeBron James. He don't want that pressure. He don't want that.
Well, you're preaching to my choir.
You
What
right,
have I always
Skip.
called him?
You right.
What have I always called him? George Paul, right?
You have. It's confusing.
Okay. Thank you very much. Last point on the Clippers.
Okay.
I loved how this was so well rehearsed and so well presented yesterday. Where did they choose to hold this initial introductory press conference?
point.
Where was it? It was at the Green Meadows Recreation Center in South Central Los Angeles. They went to the people. They didn't do it at Staples. They didn't do it at the Lakers' glitzy facility.
We wouldn't let them have it. We wouldn't let them have it.
Right?
You're a tenant.
So, meanwhile, LeBron is up making Space Jam 2. They are down at the Green Meadows Rec Center. And what has Doc been referring to his team as? What did he call his Clippers last year? We're a blacktop team, meaning we're tough, we're gritty, we'll scratch and claw, we'll bite, we'll fight, right? That's what Patrick Beverly will do. That's what Lou and Montrez will do. And now he's added 2 stars into that mix.
You know why they had to go down there? You know when you're a tenant somewhere, you're at an apartment complex, you got to put in a recommendation to get the clubhouse. You just can't go get the clubhouse anytime you want to.
Yeah, but I think the people loved having them
we
there.
love it.
And what was outside the Green Meadows Rec Center? What was it covered with?
I'm going down to deface it.
A giant
I'm
mural.
going to deface it.
A mural of number 2 and Paul George, who are, by the way, Southern California products.
I'm going to do to them what they did to LeBron.
No,
I just
you're
want you to
not.
know, yes, I am.
Okay, so just think about this. LeBron comes, and his murals immediately get defaced.
I will get you. Guess
So
what?
now there's a South Central mural of number 2 and Paul George, and I will bet you, unless you deface it, nobody else will.
I'm gonna put 23 on 2.
Are you?
Yeah.
Watch
Okay.
your every move.
And I'm gonna put a minus in front of 13.
Are you?
That's a good PR move, though, the location.
Was it?
That's a good point.
Beautiful.
We ain't in the PR.
Beautiful.
We ain't gonna win them
We'll
titles.
see.
Okay.
We gonna get them titles.
I don't
That's
know.
what we go. I know.
Speaking of more titles, will Tom Brady win another championship and continue to make Shannon miserable? These guys are making their Super Bowl picks next. Don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. We'll be right back.
No mercy.
NFL training camps are getting underway this week, so of course it is time to talk Super Bowl. The defending champion Patriots and the Chiefs have the best odds to hold the trophy in February, according to Westgate. They're followed by the Saints and last year's NFC champs, the Rams. So guys, here is how this thing works. You do have the right to change your picks before the season.
Which
But
means
right
somebody
now,
across the table will change 17 times. But go ahead.
Mike.
Yep.
Possibly. We've seen that before. But Shannon, right now, Super Bowl prediction.
Eagle Chiefs, you go. That's how convinced I am right there. Because a healthy Carson Wentz, D-Jack on the outside, ooh, I like the addition of Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard. They loaded. They are loaded defensively. They get Malik Jackson, Darby Kump. NFC East is going to be a breeze.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah. Like a nice
That
fall,
easy.
like a nice fall evening in Malibu. The wind blowing across the Skip. That's how easy it's going to be in the NFC East. Home field throughout to the Super Bowl they go in the AFC. How can you not like my homeboy? Oh, that offense is back. Tyreek, they got Hartman, another 4-3 guy, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce. And then they added Frank Clark and Tyron Honey Badger.
It's over? That's it?
Thanksgiving, like my grandma used to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. By noon, Barney Porter had that bird on the table.
Really?
It's done.
So your bird's already on the table right now?
Done.
And you're done.
It's time to eat.
Yeah.
I could have predicted those teams from you. But Skip,
Chalk.
I get accused of loving hard on
You
the
do,
show.
you do.
But I love right, and you love hard wrong. That's what happens. You are just being stubborn to a fault. You are trying to hang in with two quarterbacks that you love, and one you got a shot at because I'll give you this. The Kansas City Chiefs are co-favorites with Tom Brady and company at 6-1. But And I'll give you this, the Eagles are hanging in there at 14-1. They're tied with the Bears, Packers, and Colts at 14-1. So you're kind of middle of the pack there. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
But here's my issue with your Eagles pick. You realize that you are betting your bird over there on a quarterback who has never played a single playoff down, and you say he's going to get that team to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
You are betting on an injury-prone quarterback. Is that overstated? Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
He's very injury-prone.
Yes.
Who just got the most guaranteed money in the whole National Football League, $108 million. And the same quarterback who now has to work without a net for the first time in his career in Philadelphia, which is a tough football town. In fact, I can make the case it's the toughest football town. It could be the toughest sports town, but definitely when it comes to the Eagles, they are quick to turn and quick to boo. And when you have had the magic man, Nick Foles, 2 years ago, torch your Vikings and then torch my Patriots in the Super Bowl. And then the Magic Man last year went to Chicago and won a playoff game and should have won a playoff game in New Orleans if a pass hadn't been dropped by your favorite receiver, right? So that guy is in Jacksonville now.
Okay. Let's
All
see
of
what
a sudden,
Jacksonville does.
okay, well, let's see. But the Magic Man was magic. Maybe it was the connection with the coach. Maybe it was the situation. Maybe it was the locker room who loved him, Chris Long built a shrine to him in the locker room. And I'm going to remind you one more time, there was an expose mid-offseason that hit in the Philly Voice that questioned gravely the leadership qualities in one Carson Wentz. Huh?
You wrote it.
I did not. I read it, but
No, you wrote it.
I read it out loud on the show.
Trying to sow dissension.
Okay. Well, you like it now. You trust it now. And I warned you yesterday. I love Deshaun Jackson as a guy, but he's getting a little up there in age. And in his career, he is now 6-10 versus Dallas, and he's lost his last 5 games to Dallas. And he's going to reinvent the Philly offense.
Well, here's the thing, Skip. I mean, he lost one of those games last year with Tampa, and then he was with Washington. So that's where the losses come from. When he was with the Eagles, he's doing work. So, yeah, he can still run, going to take the top off and let Zach Ertz, Goddard, and Alshon do what they do.
Okay. So, now, my other question to you is, how exactly is Patrick Mahomes going to win the AFC Championship game in Foxborough, Massachusetts?
Because they won't be there.
And how do you figure it won't be there?
Because, Skip, he's only going to get better as a sophomore. Normally you have a slump.
Well, I was just going to say, is it possible the NFL will start to figure out Mahomes? That's a big question mark.
He can write that math problem so difficult, Einstein couldn't figure it out.
Okay. So you have agreed with me that New England is playing in the easiest division still this year, right?
In the history of...
Okay, so you say in the history of football, it's the easiest division.
Yes.
Well, does that mean you get 6 pretty easy dubs?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So that adds up pretty fast. That's 6. Okay? Now what's going to happen? Is it possible that my Patriots are going to get to 13 wins?
Brian Flores is still one of the Miami because he knows them. He'll
Okay.
still win. Miami will still win.
Okay, remember, they this time get to play the Dolphins in week 2 instead of week 14.
That's a bull jive.
Okay, well, I'm just warning you, so I don't think Brian Flores is going to steal week 2.
He will still win.
Okay,
He gonna
okay,
get that
so
one.
is he
It'll be
going
nice and hot.
to steal one in Foxborough
No, it'll
later?
be nice and hot. He'll get this
They play the last game of the year in Foxborough, and maybe he'll steal it because the Patriots won't have to play anybody because they will already clinch home field advantage.
That ain't Coach Belichick no more.
Okay, well, I'm just warning you. I'm being arch conservative here. I'm actually looking at the glass as half empty for the Patriots, and I have them winning 13 games, going 13-3. And I'm sorry, but even the losses, I'm doing this. I'm saying they're going to lose their opener to the Steelers because I think the Steelers are going to bounce back with a vengeance post AB and post Le'Veon.
Right.
So I'm even saying the Patriots will lose the opener, then they will lose at the Ravens on a Sunday night. The opener's on Sunday night. And then I have them losing on a Sunday night at the Texans just because Deshaun seems to play well against Brady. So those are my three. And if you can show me other games they're going to lose, you're way ahead of me.
Well, as long as if there's one game on their schedule, as long as they don't lose, I'll be happy. And you know what game that is.
Cowboys. Well, I got them beating the Cowboys. Which brings me to my Super Bowl prediction, and I've been steadfast in this the whole offseason. I believe that the Cowboys will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. But I'm being objective about my Dallas Cowboys, and I'm saying they will lose to Tom Brady on the biggest stage in the sport.
Well, I object.
Okay. I have New England over Dallas in the Super Bowl. Would that not make the people at Fox here happy? We got the Super Bowl on. I think that would be a big number, right? Big ratings.
I'm in.
Oh, would you go to the game?
I think I would be.
No.
We're going to be there all week anyway.
You got to come home. You always come home. You don't stay for the game. You leave.
You might stay for that one.
I just might have to be on the sideline for that one.
For what?
Right?
Oh,
In the action.
what sideline? That's what I want to know. What sideline?
The Cowboy sideline,
Hold
of
on.
course.
How you going to be on their sideline and you pick the Patriots?
Well, I can get away with that.
No, you can't get away with that.
I'm objective.
No.
Maybe they would surprise me.
Hold on.
Maybe they would be
Against
motivated by me.
Might be motivated
Dak
by
has the highest completion percentage of any quarterback in NFL history in his first 3 years.
That's a stat. Where'd you hear that? I love that.
All them come from behind victories.
Right.
He's the guy.
Wait, he's led the NFL in fourth quarter comebacks? Wow, really? The last 3 years?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And with all that being said, you say he's going to take the L.
Well, to Tom Brady?
No.
Winning his 7th Super Bowl? Yeah. I mean, how can you bet against Tom Brady? What do I always tell you on the show? Never bet against Tom Brady. Okay. Well, the Cowboys would be a first time in the Super Bowl. It would be all the lights, camera,
That ain't no first time.
action.
You told me they've got 5. You tell me
But then the Cowboys will win next year's Super Bowl. Okay?
We don't need to get
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So I've got the Dallas Cowboys going 12-4 once again for the third time in 4 years, winning the NFC.
And then what they get them?
It's going to get them to the Super Bowl. But I have them, I'm being totally objective about my Cowboys. I have them losing to the Saints on a Sunday night at New Orleans. I have them losing at Patriots. I have them losing at Bears. That's on a Thursday night. And I'm so objective, I'm giving them a loss to your Eagles at Philadelphia on December 22nd. So 4 losses, and that's it. And I try to look harder and harder.
This many losses.
Yeah. 7. You have them missing the playoffs. I want this on the record. You have my Cowboys.
We already got due on it.
Okay, but you have them missing the playoffs for like 5 cases. Was that it? 5 cases? Missing the playoffs.
Did you guys
so
decide
Zeke gonna hold out.
I was away? Oh, boy.
Zeke going to hold out.
Okay. Your only hope is holdouts and contractual madness in the locker room.
Whatever, Skip.
Yeah, that's all you got. You need contractual distraction. That's all you got.
Well, pay him.
Yeah.
Tell Stephen Jones to pay up.
What do you think is going to happen if everybody is healthy and relatively happy? What do you think is going to happen to this squad? It is on the verge.
Well, Stephen and Jerry could have made everybody relatively happy already.
Okay. So back to your Eagles. I'm being totally glass half full on your Eagles.
No, you're
and
not.
I'm giving them 11-5. 11-5. I've got them losing at the Packers. Is that fair? I'd say that's fair. I got them losing at your Vikings. Is that fair? I think so.
me.
At Cowboys, you better believe it. That's a night game. And then I've got them losing to the Patriots at home. That's going to happen. And that's it. I have them winning out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got them winning their last 6 games in a row to eke into the playoffs as a wild card out of the NFC East. So I'm being open and objective about your Eagles.
You okay with that?
Fly, Eagles, fly.
You're not
They're going
worried?
to fly all over the Cowboys.
Okay. All right.
That's all we got?
Unfortunately, I'm going to be on the sideline cheering on my homeboy.
Are you?
Yep.
Okay. So you're going to be up in Foxborough for the AFC Championship game?
No, it's going to be in Arrowhead again.
Really?
Yep.
Well, then that's easy. I already saw what Brady does at Arrowhead.
Oh, that's easy.
He owns Arrowhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like these picks. I've written everything down, so I
Okay.
know you can make changes before the season.
Yeah.
but
Somebody across from me does not feel too
I
convicted
feel very good.
about. Yeah.
I mean, when I was going over it this morning, it was like
there's not
Eagles
even-
Chiefs.
Yeah. Eagles, Chiefs, Eagles. So I'm going to say this one last time. The most underrated team in football right now is the Dallas Cowboys. The most overrated team in all of football right now is Carson Wentz's Philadelphia Eagles. I stand by that.
Dougie P.
Remember.
Go write another book bestseller.
Okay, yeah.
And you know where did he learn up under?
What's the next one would be called? Fearful?
Fearless.
Okay.
You got another Philly special brewing.
Does he?
Yeah, I got another one brewing.
I think Fearless just went to Jacksonville.
Ooh,
Whatever.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Watch
Okay.
it hold up.
No mercy.
Next up, Anthony Davis is a Laker now, but not everyone is happy about how he started the process. AD requested a trade from New Orleans back in January when he still had 2 seasons left on his contract. Steve Kerr was asked yesterday about that scenario of players getting out of their deals. Well, take a listen.
I'm talking more about the Anthony Davis situation, where a guy's perfectly healthy and got a couple years left on his deal and says, I want to leave.
Yeah.
I think that's a real problem that the league has to address, that the players have to be careful with. To me, when you sign on that dotted line, you owe your effort and your play to that team, to that city, to the fans. And then it's completely your right to leave as a free agent. But if you sign the contract, then you should be bound to that contract. Yeah, if you come to an agreement with the team that, hey, it's probably best, it's time for us to part ways, that's one thing. But, the Davis stuff was really kind of groundbreaking, I think, and hopefully not a trend because it's bad for the league.
All right, Shannon, do you have a problem with those comments?
Hell yeah, big problem. Skip, did Steve Kerr and Bob Myers, did they go to Andre Iguodala and say, this is the best for you and I, to trade him to Memphis? Did they go to him? Was Andre Iguodala still under contract? I just need to know.
Interesting.
Is he still getting paid?
So is Anthony Davis still getting paid by the Lakers? What about Chris Paul? Did Chris Paul and the Houston Rockets come to an agreement? Say, you know what? If I'm not mistaken, I think Chris Paul signed a 4-year, $160 million deal. Now, I'm pretty good. I have a history. I'm pretty good at geography.
Sure, yeah.
You're from Oklahoma. Is there a city in Oklahoma named Houston, Oklahoma? Because I could have sworn Chris Paul signed up to play for the Houston Rockets in Houston, Texas. So where is that, Skip Bayless? See, what Steve Kerr has a problem with is that, and he's speaking for ownership, that teams don't have the power that they once did. The players do now. Because they trade players like it's nothing. The Dallas Mavericks traded Harrison Barnes mid-game like it ain't nothing. Woo.
Yeah.
Boston Celtics traded Isaiah Thomas. Blood, sweat, and tears. Toronto traded DeMar DeRozan. How many more years DeMar DeRozan got in that contract? Traded him in the blink of an eye. But now, all of a sudden, it's a problem. So how about this? This is how we're going to do it, Steve Kerr. No more trades. Players can't ask for a trade. You can't trade him. You sign a guy for 1, 2, 3, 4 years. You got him 1, 2, 3, 4 years. Okay. We're going to do it like that, Steve.
Okay.
You good with that, Steve? I didn't think so. Well, Steve is really upset about Skip because, he pretend like he be doing a lot of coaching. So, they call a timeout, they get down by 10. He had KD, Steph, Draymond, and Clay. He put them in. He come over to the sideline. He grab his board. He draw a stick man on the board. Pretend like he drawing up X and O's. Hold on, Skip. Where was this problem when he was giving the board to Andre Iguodala? Say, Andre, you take it over. What was that? Oh, Draymond, you want to call some plays? You go ahead. Now you got to do a little coaching, huh, Steve? Oh, you ain't got KD. Clay's a little injured. Now you got to do some coaching. You worry about your team. Don't worry about Anthony Davis because teams have been trading players since the beginning of trades been instituted.
Right.
And it was never a problem for a team to trade a player. So let me get this straight. I just want to make sure I'm hearing this correctly, Steve. It's okay for a team to trade a player with multiple years left on his contract if the player is perfectly healthy, but not for a player to request a trade if he signed the contract and he's perfectly healthy. Oh, that's how you try to do that, Steve. No more. No more. The players have that power. Power. I love it.
Okay. So you are suggesting Steve Kerr is overrated as a coach. Is that what you just said? Okay.
I didn't say he overrated.
No, I think
But let me ask you a question.
I think he said he doesn't coach at all.
How many games you think I would lose if Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green on my roster. How many games I'm losing? And I don't know. I ain't played a game of basketball, but how many games you think I can win?
You might alienate all four of them.
I just got to manage the egos. I'm gonna manage the egos. I know how to do it.
Well, how can you manage egos when yours is bigger than all of theirs combined?
Whoa, no, hold on, hold on.
It might be hard.
No, I'm good. I'm good, Skip. I'm like, hey guys, hey. KD, it's KD time this time.
Oh, really? That's what you're going to tell him?
Don't you shoot that ball, Steph.
And then Steph side-eye at
Just
you
that
and
easy.
said,
Hey, KD, pass it.
And then Steph goes to Joe Lacob, the owner, and says, the coach has got to go.
No.
Go.
I was sitting there just like Steve Kerr.
Yeah. That's all he does?
I like picturing
Cross
him
his
as a
arms.
coach.
Luke Walton went 32-4.
Okay.
Brian filled in for Steve Kerr last year. He went 10-0, 11-0 in the playoff. Come on, stop it now.
Luke might be pretty good. He got stuck with LeBron last year.
There you go. You always
He might change life and sack.
Whose life?
Right?
Whose life?
By the way, so before I answer, I got to. So he sucks on breath mints?
Yeah, he puts something in his mouth. Maybe it's tongue or something.
You do too, and then you put it back
Don't
on.
worry about what you
I don't get it.
I know.
What,
Hey, you see that?
I don't really get it either.
It's kind of gross.
Saving it for later.
What am I talking about? That's my side of the table. Why?
Well, I don't know, but why do you suck on breath mints? Because it's not smell-o-vision.
Hey,
You think they
I
can
ain't got-
smell your breath?
I ain't got nothing over here. This is my cup. That's my coffee
Respectful.
cup. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you. Appreciate it.
So, not only do I not have any problem with what Steve Kerr said, I appreciate greatly that he had the guts, and there are very few coaches who would have the cachet and the stature to take on not only Anthony Davis, but he's basically taking on LeBron James. That's a shot at LeBron and Clutch Sports and Rich Paul. That's what it is. He's saying, LeBron, you can't threaten the foundation of this league, which are contracts. You can't ask somebody not to abide by their contract. And I'm with you on the trade aspect, but where did you hear that first? I've been saying for a couple of months on this show, they should now negotiate into the collective bargaining agreement that it's no trade.
Yeah.
Once you sign, you sign.
Yeah.
You're stuck or you're good.
Right.
You know, whichever way you want to look at it.
Right.
You are guaranteed that for the next 3 years, you are a Pelican or whatever you are, right?
I got no problem with
Because
it.
Anthony Davis had 2 more years left on a contract that the Pelicans obviously gave him in good faith because they were trying to build around him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he pulls a number 2 and basically says, I'm sorry, I just went out.
How many more years Chris Paul had on his contract?
Okay.
3 at 121. Where he?
Well, at least he is still getting paid. It's not
Anthony
like
Davis is still getting paid.
The problem in the league you played for, they can just cut you
Exactly.
and you don't get your
Right,
money, right?
right.
Because you don't have it guaranteed.
So what about Iguodala?
Okay, all right, I got it. But I just told you it should be a two-way street.
Yeah.
No trades.
Because what we're starting to see, Skip, is that teams like, okay, we signed this guy to this massive deal. 5 years, $200 million, 4 years, $180 million. Hold on. It's not going like we thought, and I don't want to pay luxury tax anymore.
Yeah.
So let me trade him. Oh, no. So why can't Anthony Davis say, you know what, yes, I signed this contract, but it's not going like I thought.
Okay.
I thought we'd be more of a championship contender. Well, I want to go somewhere where I compete. Well, that's what teams do all the time. So I'm worried about my team, me.
Okay, between the lines, Steve Kerr is aiming at LeBron, saying, LeBron, you are willing to threaten the foundation of this league, which is anything contractual, in order to save your legacy because you need a second star in LA, and you finally found one who wants to be your second star, and you just said, go pry him out of New Orleans. Go get him.
Hold on. You ain't got Skip. But my thing is, why didn't he mention what the Rockets did to Chris Paul? Why didn't he mention what he did to Iggy? What about all these other guys that's under contract that they traded? Did Isaiah Thomas have any years left on his contract? Yes. And they traded him from Boston.
Okay, I'm with you on the trades, but again, he didn't address the
And
trades.
why not?
Doesn't
that seem hypocritical
again,
to you?
I saw Kendrick Perkins take a shot at Steve Kerr yesterday via Twitter, I believe, and his point was, you got Kevin Durant to come. Well, he was a free agent.
Yeah.
And he chose,
Right.
and he was free to go,
Right.
right?
Free.
And even number 2 made that point yesterday when somebody was questioning about what he did. He said, well, I was a free agent.
But what about Paul George?
Okay?
Was Paul George a free agent?
No.
Why didn't Steve Kerr mention that?
Okay, because I think it all played out like we just talked about, where Sam Presti was ready to blow it up, and so he needed a trade partner, and voila, it came out of nowhere.
And you know what, Skip? The thing is that you mentioned LeBron. LeBron is low-hanging fruit. Anything that goes wrong, LeBron did it. You see the decision? LeBron did it. Oh, this guy wanted to go play. LeBron did it. So we always blame LeBron. No, what LeBron did is that he realized that he had more power. See, the biggest mistake that you can make is not realizing how much power you actually have. LeBron James realized at a very early age in the NBA, he's like, man, I got a lot of power. Well, let me see. And he started to exert it. And what the players started to see, hold up, KD like, I got power too. AD like, I got power too. Kawhi, Paul George. And so they started, now all of a sudden, it used to be teams had all the power. They still have it in the NFL. They don't have it anymore in the NBA.
Okay.
The megastar, Skip, there's only a handful of guys that can do this now. Don't make Steve Kerr try to make it seem like everybody can do this. No, you can't.
Okay.
There's only a handful
I'm
of
with
guys.
you on this count. I have always been pro player since my early years in this business.
Sure.
Pro player. But more than that, I have always been pro contract. I am as old school as you can get.
Yeah.
When you sign, that's what Steve Kerr said. When you sign that dotted line, that's it. Binding.
Yep.
You have to honor that. And in the business we're in, you better believe you have to honor that.
And guess what, Skip? No more buyouts. If you want to cut a guy, you give him all his money. Not 80 cents on the dollar, not 85, not 90. You give him all 100%. Because what we're starting to see, Skip, team. How do you spell team? It's a E and an M in there, right? I'm a team too.
Okay.
Brand, LeBron, Brand AD. Steve Kerr is being really hypocritical when he sits there and watches teams trade guys like they're nothing and then doesn't say anything about that because you know what? Well, that's where we've always done business.
Okay.
Well, it's a new time now.
Okay, so why do I call number two till death do I part? Because what he did was even more egregious to me than what AD did to the Pelicans, because clearly the Pelicans were going nowhere slowly.
Right.
With AD. And for whatever reason, something's been missing in him. That's a whole nother story, but they were going nowhere.
Okay.
San Antonio was about to go somewhere. They still had Ginobili and Parker at the end of their primes, but that was a very good basketball team that was poised to make a run in the playoffs. I thought it had a chance to get to the finals, to win the West.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
This year you would have been.
Okay, that year with number two.
Yes.
Okay. And what did he do? He decided he wanted out.
He was hurt.
Okay, so he just quits his way out of town thanks to Uncle Dennis's.
He was injured his way.
Advising him that way.
Injured.
Okay, all right, but that's just egregious. Where you are under contract for 2 more years, but you want out. So he got stuck in purgatory, and it all turned out. And to quote you from yesterday, he was pretty lucky. He got every break in the world, and he won the championship. And
Figured it in literally every break.
Every break in the world. Every break. And then he got what the big grand design was. He got to go to, not the Lakers, but the Clippers, which I believe he wanted to go to from the start.
I agree.
Okay? So, again, that's why I say that's unforgivable, what he did to the Spurs, because they were building around him. Obviously, he was the centerpiece of that basketball team.
He was hurt.
He was not hurt.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, build around LaMarcus. That's what y'all told him. You told LaMarcus, come here. You're going to replace Tim Duncan. You the guy.
Well,
so you weren't building around him.
Okay, but that year they were building around that guy. And maybe he felt like it was too much pressure. And we'll see if he can
How'd that work out for him, the pressure? Didn't he handle the pressure quite well in Toronto?
I think there was little to no pressure because nobody saw them coming. Nobody expected them. Nobody anticipated. Nobody picked them. They just happened. Way to go.
And I like Steve Kerr, but he's wrong in this. A lot of times I support everything he says, but I can't.
Now you're backing off on
No.
Okay.
Not in this. He absolutely, he's flat wrong.
It's interesting, though, the difference between the NFL and NBA, which you bring up, and the player control.
Yeah.
The shift that's already
With
happened.
that next CBA players,
things could be changing.
do away with the franchise tag, lifetime benefits, and guaranteed contracts, at least the first 3 years.
We are going to
Just as long as we don't lose football for a year to get that.
No. We might have to, Skip. We might got to. Not to get that money. We got to get that. I mean, everybody else get lifetime benefits. Come on, how you play the most physical, demanding sport, and you get no lifetime benefit? Baseball, basketball, get it.
I understand that part. We are going to shift to the NFL, though. Rodney Harrison made some bold claims that the Patriots don't get enough respect. We'll tell you what he's saying.
no mercy.
The Patriots have won 6 Super Bowl titles since 2002, by far the most in the NFL, but you won't see a lot of recognition in the Hall of Fame. Ty Law will be the first player from those New England title teams inducted into the Hall of Fame next week, and former Patriot Rodney Harrison has a problem with that. Harrison said yesterday, "People don't think we have ballers. I'm like, Ty Law was the greatest defensive back I've ever played with. He's one of the best I've ever seen. Richard Seymour, Willie McGinnis, Troy Brown, Kevin Falk. These dudes were bad dudes. They weren't just system guys. It's unfair when people say, as long as you had Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, well, dude, Tom and Bill can't get it done by themselves. It takes a lot of really smart, great players. It's just unfortunate. It's almost a form of discrimination. People don't want to elevate us or recognize or acknowledge how great we are because they're such haters. Everywhere I go, people hate on the Patriots, so we don't get credit. All I hear is Tom and Bill, but that's such lazy analysis. Shannon, do you agree?
I think what he's trying to say, Skip, that they should have more Hall of Famers. And I think once they retire, they will. Gronk is going to be a Hall of Famer.
I'd say.
Adam Vinatieri is going to be a Hall of Famer. But the Hall of Fame is not just about you winning, Skip. A lot of these guys that he mentioned, now Richard Seymour went to 7 Pro Bowls. He was on the ballot this year. He didn't get in. I believe Seymour will be the next Patriot to get in. But Skip, what has happened, Ty Law, he got in this year. Ty Law left the Patriots. Not only he was first-team All-Pro, went to the Pro Bowl, led the league in interceptions. What we have is that we have so many guys that play really well in New England, and when they leave, they step off a cliff. Deion Branch was Super Bowl MVP. He went to Seattle, and we never heard from him again.
No.
We see the David Pattons, the Gibbons. We see all these guys, and when they leave, they do nothing. That's why Coach Belichick is elevated even more than what he is. Tom Brady is elevated even more than what he is.
Yep.
Skip. Some of the guys he's mentioned never made a Pro Bowl, never made All-Pro, never been All-Decade. I love Rodney. I played against Rodney when he was in San Diego. A lot of people don't know he played in San Diego. He was a hell of a safety. There were years Rodney should have been in the Pro Bowl. But as offensive players, we vote for the defensive guys. And a lot of offensive players felt he was dirty. So they didn't give him his due, Skip. And remember how Kurt Warner came to be. In a preseason game, Rodney hit Trent Green in the knee. And people like, that was unnecessary. You didn't have to crawl and get up and, it's the preseason game. Some people never forgave him.
That made way for Kurt
Warner.
Yeah.
Kurt Warner was born.
Yep.
I never had a problem with Rodney. Every game I played against him in San Diego, he's like, hey, Sharpe, hey, good job, you're doing great. We're going to keep it fair. I ain't going to hit you late. Stay off my knee. We good. But he was physical, Skip. He would knock your head off. Really, literally.
Okay.
But I'm going to Skip, Kevin Falk. Kevin Falk was a good player. Come on. Troy Brown, come on, guys. Do you understand what the Hall of Fame is? Skip, do you understand? Of the 24,000 men, a little over 300 have been elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's the best of the best of the best. Skip, winning should be what pushes you across. But if you're dominant, Leroy Selman didn't even come close. The great rest his soul. But he was dominant. You watch him play, oh, that's a Hall of Famer.
Should see him at Oklahoma.
Skip, the Junior Seau's, the Dick Buckuses.
Yep.
Skip, they didn't win no Super, but that's a Hall of Famer. You know what it is. Rodney, you won a lot. You're going to get more guys in. But Vinatieri got to retire first, Skip, before you put him in. I believe Mr. Kraft also will get into the Hall of Fame. They're going to get their due. But you just can't, just because you won a lot of Super Bowls, like, okay, yeah, no, that's not how it works.
So is it possible that, bottom line, Rodney was campaigning for Rodney to get in? Is that kind of how it came across?
He might have been.
Yeah. He was a very good football player.
Yes.
But I always tell you, there's a Hall of Fame. It's transcendence. It's eye test. It's the ultimate test of, if I have to think twice, you're not in my Hall of Fame.
Right.
It's not that I own it, but the way I'm looking
Sure.
at the Hall of Fame. And with all of these Patriots that Rodney brings up, or that I sort of put the pin to, I always have to think twice. Vince Wilfork, was he an anchor of that line? A rock for them?
Right.
Is he Hall of Fame? Well, I'm wondering if he's if I have to wonder, Richard Seymour, he was a very good player.
I played against Seymour.
Okay, borderline great player.
Yeah.
Did he retire a Patriot? Well, Belichick finally got rid of it. Well, again, quote unquote, but it's like a blemish when the greatest coach ever, according to many people, said, "Oh, well, I'm done with you.
Right.
I got to move on from you." So is Richard Seymour in? Probably he will get in just because if I go 7 Pro Bowls and 3 first-team All-Pros and 3 rings, credentials, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we look at Ty Law. I'm a big Ty Law fan, and I do agree with Rodney's take. He was all-time to me because he's a game changer.
Yes.
He's a big game changer.
Yes.
He makes big plays on Peyton Manning in crucial moments, right?
In the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl, he made a huge play. Kurt Warner.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm good with that, but barely good with it. It's not like he's Deion Sanders, but I'm going to go.
Right.
And I feel like in listening to you day after day, you have become a leader of the 300. Is it 300 in the Hall of Fame?
I was 267,
Okay,
so that was
somewhere-
2011. So
Okay.
40 more guys. So you're probably around 320, 325
Okay.
now.
So you become a leader of those guys, and I think slowly but surely you have mellowed a little bit, and now you're more like, come on in.
No, I'm not. Because
sometimes you are. Sometimes you're a little more receptive than I think you should be.
Skip, the thing is, and people like, is he the guy makes a Pro Bowl, is like, is he a Hall of Famer? I'm like, dude, the guy just made 1 Pro Bowl. Skip, there's, I don't even know if you can get to the Hall of Fame without making a Pro Bowl. I thought it had to be, you had to get X amount of Pro Bowls, X amount of first-team
That's
All-Pros, all
Okay.
decades.
All
I mean,
right.
for us, for the longest time, we didn't have any Broncos in.
Okay.
Interesting.
Oh, then we got John, and then we got Zim, and then myself, and then TD, and
All right.
we got Atwater up on the ballot. But it's not.
Okay, so what do we know? We know that Ty's getting in.
Yes.
Gronk is a lock, right?
Okay.
And
Vinatieri
Vinatieri is a
lock.
lock. He was not a Belichick original choice for Patriot. Like, he was a Parcells guy.
Right, he was there before
Okay?
Coach
Okay?
Belichick got
So he's
there.
not part of this
Right.
dynasty,
Right.
but he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He may help make this dynasty.
Because here's the thing,
Okay.
though, Skip. Look at what he did in New England with those clutch kicks, and he went to Indy and didn't miss
Kept
a
on
beat.
keeping on. Oh, he's the greatest ever.
Exactly.
Not even close.
Yes.
And Randy Moss is a Viking to
Yeah,
me, right?
yes,
So I can't say he's a Patriot Hall.
Right.
He's a Viking.
Viking,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
It's that. Could Julian Edelman make the Hall of Fame?
No.
You would laugh at it, but I just think if you are second in yards and second in touchdown catches, in receptions to the great Jerry Rice in the postseason, you got a chance. Eye test, am I thinking transcendent? Probably not, but I'm just saying I'll bet he'll get on the ballot at some point.
I don't think he'll get on the ballot.
You don't
Skip.
think so?
No.
Okay, so that's it. Period. End of story. So what's the bottom line takeaway here? This dynasty has been a 1-star, 1-coach dynasty.
Right.
It's just as simple as that because the quarterback is the greatest who ever played, and he's one of the greatest leaders in the history of sports. So Belichick has had the luxury of mixing and matching cogs, especially at receiver and running back, around that quarterback.
Right.
He is the sun in that offense, right?
And that's why they get so much credit, Skip, because what's been the common denominator through all 6? The only player that's been there is Tom Brady.
Okay.
The only head coach they've known is Coach Belichick.
Okay,
All
so-
the other pieces are interchangeable.
Defense, the star is the system and or the coach,
Right.
however you want to look
Right.
at it. And it allows the coach to mix and match, like Rodney said, smart, great players. They're not great players, they're smart players.
Right.
And they're very good football
Right.
players. They
Right.
are football players. Teddy
Right.
Bruschi was a football player.
Right.
Hall of Famer? No. Transcendent? No. Sorry.
I mean, when I played against Derek Thomas, and rest his soul, Skip, he didn't win a Super Bowl.
Okay.
But you know.
You saw it, okay? All right, what did I tell you? The one Super Bowl I covered, it was the greatest collection of Hall of Fame talent I've ever seen on one football field. It was Super Bowl 13. I'm right there in the press box, and I'm gazing down upon the Steelers of Terry Bradshaw and the Cowboys of Roger Staubach. And the Steelers that day had 9 Hall of Famers on the field. 9, and they all deserved it.
Right.
And the Cowboys had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you do front office and coaches, the Steelers had 13 and Dallas had 10.
Yeah.
So it's just this incredible collision of greatness
Right.
on the football
Right.
field and totally upside down different from these Patriots.
And I think that's the thing,
Okay?
Skip. He's look at the Steelers, what they did in the 70s, and how many Hall of Famers they had, and then you look at us and what we did in the 2000s and now, and look how few Hall of Famers we have. But you had no Joe Green. You had no Jack Ham, no Lambert, no Mel Blount. Skip, Mike Webster. Mike Webster's arguably the greatest center to ever live.
Swan, Stallworth.
Yeah,
I mean,
Franco.
come on. Franco. It's just, these are like, yes.
Yes.
Roger Staubach and Randy White. I can just go, yes. Okay. Patriots?
Was Bob Hayes was on that field?
No, not that. He was gone by then.
He was gone by then?
Rayfield Wright was on
okay,
there,
yeah, big cat.
Yeah. And Jackie Smith, I'm sorry, was the tight end.
Yes,
He wasn't really a Cowboy, but he was a Hall of Famer. So the point is that in the end, Rodney has one good point. He said, everywhere I go, people hate on the Patriots. They just do.
They do. Yeah.
And it's in part because Tom Brady just keeps winning.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. And because even when Golden State, and I've talked to people, and they don't really follow basketball. It's like, I just want somebody else to win.
Okay.
That's just the way it is. I just want.
With Golden State, it was getting old.
Right.
And it's like, okay.
And the Patriots, like, I just want, let Tom Brady, do you understand how hard it is to get to where they got? They make it look easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I played 14 and only got to the Super Bowl 3 times. I was fortunate to win them all.
Well, you were highly fortunate.
Yeah.
Three is.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, Skip.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Tom just makes it look easy, like every third year he's in the Super Bowl. But no, it's not easy. Just let somebody else. I'm not giving up this. But like I said, Rodney was an unbelievable player, Skip, and I believe he would get more consideration had offensive players not deemed him dirty. I mean, there are a lot of guys that hated him, but he would not. He played hard, and he and Junior Seau, they were that defense.
Okay. Rodney belongs in what I call the Hall of Very Good. And it's pretty good to be in the Hall of
But
Very Good.
he's going into the Patriots Ring of Fame.
Right.
But
That's fine.
the dynamic of going to the Patriots, knowing you might be hated, but you may win the ring, it's a weird concept to think about. But I liked that discussion a lot. With the Hall of Fame.
Look,
Interesting.
it's
a special group.
to get in that room, Skip. I mean, when you're in that room, Skip, and you look around and you look like, dude, 10 Pro Bowls, all decade, 2 different decades, 80s and 90s, 90s and 2000s. It's like,
it's incredible. It really is.
You can't just, okay, come on, you was on the winning team. Come on in, let's open the door. Everybody just come on in.
Okay. It's not that. Would you be ashamed to have Rodney as your Hall of Fame teammate? No. But again, you would say,
I ain't gonna say no. I'm out of there.
Okay.
Well, we're lucky to have you, Shannon, around here. Will Cam Newton look like an MVP candidate again this season? Rest of the year, we'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Well, guys, Cam Newton is back, but how effective will he be? Cam is coming off shoulder surgery in the offseason, and yesterday, Ron Rivera said he will be on a pitch count as he works his way back. The coach was also asked about the arm strength of his star quarterback. Take a listen.
Ron, what about length? How far down the field will he be able to throw? Will he be able to throw all out?
Well, we'll see. Again, we believe he's ready to roll. He had a good off season. He had a good break from what we're being told. And again, the proof will be in the pudding. We'll get to see tomorrow exactly.
All right, Shannon, what do you expect from Cam this season?
I expect him to have a bounce-back season. There was no question in my mind that Cam was injured last year. Hence the off-season surgery confirmed that. This will be a second year under North Turner. But, Skip, he completed 68% of his passes, which was 8% better point than any point in his career. He had the highest touchdown, highest yards per attempt, fewest interceptions since his MVP season. And now this will be his second year under North. I think what also will help Cam is that having a running back like Christian McCaffrey that he could dump the ball off to, hopefully Greg Olsen can come back healthy. And so Cam doesn't have to take those unnecessary hits. I believe Cam will bounce back. I believe we'll see the Cam Newton. He had a couple of games last year, 350 yards against the Lions, 335 in a win against the Falcons. So we know what Cam Newton is capable of. He can run it, he can throw it. He just have to be smart, know when the journey's over, Skip. He can't take those unnecessary hits because he takes shots that you don't even want your running back to take, let alone your quarterback.
Yep. I'm going to give Cam Newton a break and a pass today, and I'm going to go with what you just said, but I am quite a bit more skeptical than you are.
Okay.
Because when you say bounce back to what? Because
MVP,
the truth is, since 2015 MVP, since that Denver debacle in the Super Bowl. And that team did that to a lot of people, including Tom Brady. But Cam did not have his best day against Von Miller. And he didn't have his best post game when I had no problem with that, but it left a bad taste in everyone's mouth through that offseason after he had been the MVP. Over the last 3 seasons, he's tied for first in interceptions with 43 total over the last 3. His QBRs over the last 3 seasons average 51, which is highly average because it's right in the middle, 0 to 100.
Correct.
So he's had 3, by his MVP standards, very mediocre years, 3 of them in a row. Now, to your point, he was definitely hurt last year because he couldn't throw it 15 yards down the field, and the defenses knew it by about mid-season.
Yep.
And it was hard on him, and I thought Norv could be good for him, and maybe to your points, he was. I thought Christian McCaffrey would just change his life, and maybe he will now that Cam's a little healthier, if not a lot. But to your point, this man has taken a pounding. This man, what do we say he weighs? 255?
Well, he's lost weight.
50?
He was up there pretty high. He was maybe in the 260s at one point.
All right.
He's down. I mean, he's gone all vegan now, Skip. So he's down to about 245.
Okay.
He's all vegan now.
Yeah.
He's a big man.
He
He's
is.
a strong man. He's a tough man. But after a while in this league, to your point, if you keep taking those shots, at some point you have a finite number of those shots you can withstand.
You get punch drunk.
Okay? You do. It's like
It happened to our guy, Skip, Mike Vick. He just got beat up, and he's a much smaller man than Cam. But after a while, it seems like every time he would take a hit, Mike would grab his head and he would miss the next game.
Okay, so Cam's starting quarterback record over the last 3 years is 23-21, which is why Marty Herney, the GM of the Carolina Panthers, said on draft day, second day, I'm going to take this kid named Will Grier.
Right.
And you know what I thought of Will Grier? I thought he was the second best quarterback in the whole draft, and I thought they stole him in the 3rd round. And he's from the Charlotte area, so he's looked at as a local sort of kid. And all I know for a fact is this is a pivotal year for Cam Newton. He needs to bounce way back. He needs to have a big year because I think he's starting to be on a hot seat there. Where if you have another mediocre,
in the second round.
It's third.
Third round,
but they stole.
You took him high.
Listen, he fell into their laps, and he's a mature kid. He's been married. When he married all through college,
Most of college, at least.
College.
Yeah, he's got a young child.
Okay, he's got a young child, so he's a little more advanced. I thought he looked like a pro quarterback last year.
He was
West
impressive
Virginia.
to be around. And his demeanor was impressive.
You start taking these quarterbacks, and obviously you take a quarterback in the 1st round, you anticipate him playing, but you take a quarterback 2nd or 3rd round. Ask Tom Brady. They took Jimmy Garoppolo for a reason. Now, Tom has proved them wrong. Like, look, I'm good. But you're not taking a quarterback with, it's not like it used to be, Skip. You can just stash the guy and you keep him for 10 years on the bench as a backup. That's not happening anymore. You take a quarterback in the first 3 rounds, you're taking him with the anticipation of him playing within the first 3 years.
So back to the Mike Sando article on quarterback breakdowns in The Athletic the other day that we talked about. The anonymous quotes on Cam included one from a head coach, anonymously, who said, his leadership ability, he has not proven that to me. Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I think he's grown a lot. That Super Bowl year, he was clearly the leader of that team. He needs to reassert himself on and off the field as the face of this franchise. Is he capable? You better believe he's capable.
I just think a couple of years, Skip, Greg Olsen missed most of the year with that foot. He came back, played well, and he re-injured the foot again last year. I think if he can stay healthy, C-Mac can stay healthy, I think Cam is poised for a bounce-back season. I really do.
I hope, for his sake, you are very right. I will wait to see.
Oh, wait to see. I'd like to see it as well. We do have to talk about Kawhi and the Clippers, what they're about to do. Are they about to take over L.A.? Will Shannon be able to handle it? We'll discuss that with Chris Haynes.
He was there.
No mercy.
Kawhi Leonard and Paul George made their first official appearance as Clippers yesterday. Both superstars said they actually grew up as Clipper fans, and Kawhi told our friend Chris Haynes that he did not lead anyone on in free agency and was close to signing with the Lakers. Kawhi also told Chris he was not the architect of the deal, as people have claimed. The two stars are in LA, so of course they were asked about that other team at Staples Center. Take a listen.
You understand the dynamics of the NBA in this town and the giant shadow cast over the Clippers by the Lakers all these years. How important is it for both of you to lead this team out of that shadow?
I mean, as far as the last few years, as far as a basketball standpoint, the Clippers have been better. You know, they've been.
And I just think Lakers is Lakers. We got our own identity. We chasing something else. You know, we not looking at the battle of LA. You know, we got bigger things in mind and bigger goals to accomplish.
All right, we're joined by Yahoo senior NBA insider Chris Haynes.
And by
Good
the
to
way,
have you here.
that is a sharp suit.
Thank you.
I finally have an opponent on this show who can dress.
Well, that's what it is. There you go. Well, on that note,
I'll
Chris,
take a skip.
you were there yesterday. You did have a one-on-one with Kawhi as well. So what was your biggest takeaway from everything?
My biggest takeaway from, look, Kawhi's demeanor, it struck me as something I haven't seen from him
Honestly.
throughout his NBA career. If you look, I actually had a one-on-one with him and Paul George at the same time. Then I got a one-on-one with just Kawhi. And this guy, I asked him about the Lakers. You know, he was like, look, man. He asked him about the Lakers and the Raptors supposedly being led on. He's like, look, they didn't have to wait for me. He said, I was trying to make a decision for my family. You know, I asked him about, you know, Magic and feeling like Magic was the reason why the Lakers didn't get a fair shake because he publicly let out the conversation. He was like, no, that wasn't the case. He said if whatever was said and it was truthful, what Magic said, he didn't have a problem with it. But he was just candid, he was loose, and he was free. I mean, if you look at this press conference compared to his press conference he did in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like he was almost like held hostage there.
Yeah. He was.
He didn't look happy.
Yeah, but this was a guy, you know, he let out a few profanities just to, you know, in our interview and just to show how free and good he felt. And I'm gonna say this. I know most fans don't care about this sort of thing. But he told me, he was like, look, Chris, I've been in the league, you know, 7-8 years. And the problem, he said, the reason why I wanted to come home is because he said, when I would come back during the off season, I would see my nieces and my nephews. And he said, over time, they just got so big. And he said, they were playing basketball and doing other things. And he said, I completely missed their whole upbringing. And so he said, for me, family was a big decision. And that's why he told me that this wasn't a basketball decision. It was a family decision. And I asked him, I was like, okay, so if Paul George wouldn't have came, what would have happened? And he was like, Paul George, that was the chip. That's what got it. And I was also told, you know, through my sources, that it would have been the Lakers had Paul George not, you know, being able to be a part of the Clippers. So it was more a family decision. I asked him about Toronto, how they felt. He was like, look, Toronto knew where I wanted to go from the first place, you know, from the get-go. And so he didn't hold no punches. I was just taken back just how candid and upfront he was.
Well, I never thought Toronto was a viable option because he didn't like being in Toronto. He didn't mind the guys. The guys were cool, but he didn't like being there. And it was the Clippers, and what happened was if he didn't think he could get the Clippers to acquiesce and make that move for another superstar, he would have made this move on a Monday and Tuesday. But he was stringing it out because he's like, well, we're going to need some time. Because you coming to we didn't know anything about this. If you came to us early in the process, or if we could have got an inclination, we could have set this chain of events in motion. He was just, okay, be patient. Like he said, he didn't force them the way you could move on.
Yeah.
They didn't. My only thing is, I got no problem with what Kawhi did. I got no problem with what Paul George did, but I need him to own it. Yesterday, they was up there cooking them old fresh baked lies. Ain't nobody no architect. Kawhi done built a house. He living in the house. Somebody had nothing to do with it. I just moved in. You built that, Kawhi. For Paul George to sit up on that stage, Chris Haynes, and say me, Russ, Sam Presti, and Mr. Clay Bennett was in agreement. No, it wasn't. You called Sam Presti and told him you wanted to go to the Clippers. Why not Boston? Why the Clippers? Now, he was a free agent. He could have went to L.A. last year. He could have went to the Clippers. He went to OKC. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's in agreement. See, the thing is, LeBron James is the crash dummy, the test dummy. See, he does something. Oh, you see what all them dings that he got? Well, we don't want to do that. So because everybody thinks that anything that goes on in an organization that LeBron's at, oh, LeBron did that. Oh, the coach got fired, LeBron did that. Oh, they got a new player. Oh, LeBron wanted him. Oh, we don't want that. We don't want that kind of backlash, Skip. We want the praise and adulation that LeBron gets, but we don't want that criticism. My guy, shake it off. Oh, he shake it off, shake it off. Yeah, he like Taylor Swift. Shake it off, shake it, and keep it moving.
I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm right with you, Skip.
But those two guys, they need to stop Chris.
Taylor Swift.
Don't worry, I know about shake
First time she's been mentioned
That's
on
how
the
my
show.
guy. He shake off criticism. Shake it off. And when you heap the praises, then I'll take it, but I'll take the criticism also. They want all that praise. They don't want none of that criticism.
Okay, I hear you on that, but quick point of order here. Shannon Sharpe says now that he did no way he ever want to go back to Toronto, but on the day he grandstand flew back to Toronto with his entourage in tow, right? What did Shannon Sharpe say on the show?
I told him he going to get his stuff. I told him he going to get his stuff. He left it belongings out there.
He did not say that. Shannon Sharpe said, maybe I'm wrong about this. It sure looks, why would you fly all the way back to Toronto if you have no interest in staying in Toronto?
That's why I went back to Atlanta. Skip said, why you going back there? I said, I'm going to get my things. I'm moving to L.A.
That's not what happened. Shannon, he bamboozled your Lakers, and maybe Lakers were second choice. I don't know that. But Clippers were definitely number one for number two.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So my big takeaway from yesterday was, did they rearrange the truth on some things?
Is that what we use now?
It's my word. I just invented that word because my biggest takeaway was the Clippers came across yesterday as the model franchise in Los Angeles, if not in the entire NBA. It felt yesterday like the Clippers arrived as the team with the owner and the coach and the president and the general manager and now the stars.
And the head coach.
Okay, that's what I said, the head coach.
Yes.
And these players were so ready for this media session. They were so media trained. It was clear they had rehearsed every possible question and answer. They had thought it through with their media staff. In fact, they probably went to school the day before. If you get asked about Oklahoma City, if you get asked about LeBron, if you get asked about Lakers, what are you going to say? What are you going to say? Think with us. They're probably provided potential answers that they could either choose or not choose because they were ready. And the Lakers are now coming across as what the Clippers used to be. The Lakers are now the dysfunctional laughingstock in the NBA, and the Clippers are model. They're perfect. They took you went there. Where was that rec center? It was in South Central, right?
Yep.
They went to the people. What was around the rec center? A giant mural of both number 2 and Paul George, right?
Trying to get in the good graces.
They went back to the people. The Lakers would have done glitz and glitter and Hollywood at Staples or in El Segundo at their gleaming facility.
I agree with Skip is making a point here.
Okay.
Let the man preach.
But come on, that's Lakers.
But let me tell you something to add to what you said. One thing that also struck me, not something that they said at the press conference, but Lawrence Frank. So I brought up Paul George was the kingpin. He was the reason why Kawhi ended up going to L.A. Lawrence Frank went up there and said, these guys wanted to be on a team that was drama-free. So if Kawhi was intent on coming to L.A. regardless for family reasons, that Paul George swung the thing because he would have went to the Lakers.
That's interesting.
He would have went there. But there is some drama that goes on with the Lakers.
There just is.
Yeah,
he is the drama king.
Let me ask you a question. Why of all the places, he's already, 28 other teams. He wasn't going back, so 27 other teams. How did Paul George know the Clippers?
Well, look, I don't think, listen. I mean, they were open and communicating and said that, they talked and they're no architect. I mean, things go on all the time.
Skip, would you say rearrange? Well, some people say they misspoke the truth. But where I'm from, we call them lies. That's all. It's simple.
But hey, Sam, you brought up, you said, look, LeBron James and how they do things, Paul George is getting the easy path because the way he went about it, right? The way he went about it. The Oklahoma City Thunder, They did work with him. Now, we can talk. Now, what happened? He probably requested a trade.
Yes.
To get me to L.A. But he got the other team to cooperate because Oklahoma City doesn't want to be viewed as.
And just remember, Sam Presti was perfectly ready to blow it up.
Yeah.
He was ready, and all of a sudden the Clippers presented an opportunity.
Boom.
I can blow that up.
Boom.
And then Daryl Morey presents a second opportunity. I can blow up this. Russell Westbrook.
Let me ask you a question. You hack into the server at Wells Fargo, and you steal $20 million. I go into Bank of America, and I pull my gun, and I steal $5,000. Did you commit a crime?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so Paul George committed a crime too. But he tried to get escape. That was a cyber crime. But he going to jail. I'm going to make sure everybody know what he did.
I don't think he's going to jail. I think he's going to the finals.
No, when I say jail, I'm going to make sure he get that criticism like Anthony Davis gets.
Well, that's fine, but is he going to jail? He'll be on the run a lot longer because he got a lot more money. Yeah. Because you only stole $5,000. You ain't getting far.
No, but see, my homeboy Brian put that money on the books for me.
Oh,
I'm going to set it down. Brian got me.
Oh, you trust Brian?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go deliver. Watch it. Ooh, Skip Bayless. I cannot wait. Because you over there like, because you didn't want this. He did not want Kawhi. Can you imagine? He didn't want Kawhi and Bron to hook up. But you get your wishes. You get Paul George and Kawhi.
I told you it took some guts on both counts for them to say, we're going to take on that team and that man in this city, right?
But not intimidated.
And they run, look, they can downplay it all they want, talking about, we're not worried about, we're going to try to build our legacy here. One thing Kawhi did tell me, he did say this. He said, look, it's going to take one win at a time, one championship at a time, if they can get that one championship. But he mentioned New York. He said they're going through the same situation. He said no matter how much Brooklyn wins, the Knicks is still going to be a Knicks city.
Yeah, okay.
But look, they want this. They want to win this town over. They want to do this. They ain't going to happen.
Let me ask you a question. How many titles the Mets can win to make you forget about the Yankees? Or what about the Jets make you forget about the Giants? What can the Clippers do with do you understand what the Lakers represent? Magic, Kareem, Kobe, Shaq.
Hey, I got to tell you, the 69 Mets, they leveled that playing field in New York City. I'm sorry, they just did.
And
it was 50-50.
And you know one player. You know Tom Seaver and you know Nolan Ryan was on that team. But I go Mantle, DiMaggio, Gehrig, Ruth.
Well, they were okay, but they were gone by
and that's why you never forget.
That's before all of our time.
It was, but you still know the
brought it up. I finished. The best shot of the day was fired quickly by number 2 to a question from Bill Plaschke at the Los Angeles Times. In number 2's understated, low-key sort of way, he said, as far as the last few years, Clippers have been better. That's all I had to say. And then all of a sudden, applause started.
That wasn't me, Skip. I wasn't applauding.
Okay,
you weren't? Professional.
But just for the record, last 6 seasons, Lakers have missed the playoffs. Last 6 seasons, the Lakers overall have been tied with the Knicks for the worst record in the NBA. That's LeBron's franchise now.
The way it is, right? But he's been there for 1 year, so stop trying to make it seem like he's been there all 6 of those years.
But that's who he plays for. That's who he represents.
He went there. He didn't hold anybody hostage. He went there without a superstar. Okay, but let him have done that.
I'm gonna touch a nerve right here, Shannon.
What you gonna do?
The Dallas Cowboys. Ain't that Skip team as well?
That's his team.
What are they known for right now? Are they known for all those Super Bowl? No. Dysfunction.
They're not known for dysfunction.
They're not known for dysfunction.
They won the NFC East 2 of the last 3 years. How do you do that?
That's what we're trying to win, the NFC East.
That's a good start.
That ain't no good start.
They won a playoff game last year. They should have won 2 playoff games last year.
Dallas Cowboys.
Dysfunction? I don't know any dysfunction.
But to touch on your
They're
point,
a well-oiled machine.
But to touch on your point with Kawhi saying that the Clippers have been better, and they have, because they have people in position that's qualified. When Dr. Buzz died, he put people were in position that were not qualified. Steve Ballmer, if he can run Microsoft, he can run the Clippers. Jerry West has built things everywhere he's been. Doc Rivers is bona fide. So,
Bill Plaschke concludes in his LA Times column, he's been covering the city for 30 years. These two joined the Clippers because the Clippers were everything the Lakers are currently not. Championship coach, steady front office, a culture not driven by stars. Boom.
But that's the Lakers. Right. The Lakers have always been stars. Man, why did Kareem come? Kareem came because why? He wanted to be a part of the Lakers.
So-
the Clippers were here.
Why Shaq come?
Shaq.
Okay, wait a second. They have an aging star and a wannabe star who's never proven anything on a big stage.
He's a wannabe star.
Okay,
Don't do
well,
this,
I'm
Skip.
just saying.
So
What's he ever done?
So who you want? You want Paul George or you want AD? It's as simple as that.
We brought that up.
Do you want
And
Doc
we
or
said
Jerry
yesterday.
West or do you want
we
Pelinka
don't-
or what's
we
the guy's
can't
name?
wear that
Was
back.
like
Doc.
Vogel?
No, I just asked you a simple
But
question.
I brought up the Cowboys because it showed that the fact that perceptions can change. You can't go from being considered one of the top franchises in the league for the Super Bowl wins, and then going for being
What's the most valuable franchise in the
See,
world? In the world.
It ain't won nothing in a quarter century.
Mm.
A quarter century.
They won a playoff game
Yeah,
last
man,
year.
you know what? You ought to stop.
Do the millennials know anything about these Super Bowl wins?
They're going to the Super Bowl this year, according to this guy.
Yeah,
so.
we going because we got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Fox,
you're
we have
going.
it. So we going. But he's not going.
Just watch it and weep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that you said Kawhi is in a good place.
Yeah, yeah.
Coming home was important.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
we'll see a bit more openness.
Yeah.
We got
from
some-
Kawhi.
And
We
by
got
the
some-
way,
LA.
they convinced me they grew up Clippers fans. I didn't know that. Whoop, we got a smile out of
Yeah,
it.
Good to know.
exactly.
I learned something new yesterday.
I-
as
Glad
well.
you got the one-on-one.
But the 3-2-3 is where it's at.
No,
the
2-1-3.
The 3-2-3.
Love
It was
that.
2-1-3.
Thank you for joining
Kawhi,
us.
Paul George, 2-1-3.
AD, Bron, 3-2-3.
Okay, everyone loves to hate on the Patriots. So why is Tom Brady still the most popular player in the NFL? We'll tell you
why,
what I'm
Shannon?
talking about next.
No mercy.
Tom Brady will turn 42 years old next week, but that isn't hurting his fan base. Brady led the league in merchandise sales again this spring. This is nothing new for Brady since he's led the league the last 2 seasons. So, Shannon, how do you explain this?
Yeah, Shannon, how?
There are a lot of things at play here, Skip Bayless. One of the things, he's the most popular, he's the most notable, recognizable player.
Okay.
He plays the most important, you tell me this all the time, he plays the most important position in all of sports, and they won the Super Bowl. And one last thing, he's close to retiring. So they buying up all the memorabilia so they can get this last Tom Brady jersey before he ride off into the sunset.
Really?
That's what it is.
Oh, so they're going to quit selling Brady jerseys?
No. See, what they're going to do is that once he retired, they're going to unload all those and flood the market.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. So what proof exactly do you have that he's going to retire
I
this year?
said 20 years, and I'm sticking by
Yeah.
that.
Well, every year you have to amend
I ain't going to
your-
amend it. It won't be
your
20.
prediction.
I said 20. I'm
You said
standing
20
by
and
20.
you're standing by it. So this is the last year of Tom Brady. Rush on Brady jerseys, right?
Right off
That's it.
into the
Get 'em
sunset.
now.
Yeah, get them while they last, right?
While they're hot.
So the first issue I have, the reason I'm so astounded by this is if you're a Brady fan and you have a Brady jersey, you probably don't need to buy another one because they don't change their uniforms. You don't need the throwback and the this.
Yeah, you
and
got to get them
that.
all. Get 'em
Do you?
all.
Well,
Yeah.
there aren't that. I don't know that they change that much.
Well, they got a red one, they got a blue one, they got a white one. Then you get the one with the Super Bowl insignia. You got to, because Skip, you got to get all the ones with the Super Bowl on them. You got to say, I got every Super Bowl jersey of Tom Brady's. I got every throwback jersey of Tom Brady. Every home and away jersey. So you got to have like 15 jerseys.
Okay. So I'm looking at the definition of all this memorabilia, what it all adds up to. And you start with jersey, but you also include T-shirts and what they call murals, like the fat heads.
Right. Little figurines,
Any
little bobbleheads.
figurines, that would work. Bobbleheads work, photos work. What they call drinkware, on glasses,
Yeah.
calendars, puzzles, any sort of holiday ornaments, they all count.
Yeah.
You like your holiday ornaments?
Oh, I used to get one from the Cowboys till I started working with you.
No, you blew it.
You blew it.
Because you exposed yourself to Jerry, and he said he is not a fan of the Dallas
They
Cowboys.
stopped
In
sending
fact,
you stuff.
he is
Nice
a
ones.
hater, and you're off the list. You don't
get
get
you
invited
an
to the
ornament.
parties, or you get no Christmas ornaments. So the point is with Tom Brady is, I believe two things are operating. Number one, he has become so much more accessible. He used to not be accessible at all, but over the last couple of years,
Oh, I told you. Yeah, Tom versus time.
Tom versus time,
Yeah.
and what you hate the most, Instagram posts, lame videos, corny videos. Am I right?
Yes.
He did another one on his speed the other day when his speed was questioned.
So
Yeah.
fast. So
Right?
fast, like
Yeah.
lightning.
He does a little CGI, right? And you just roll your eyes and say, give me a break.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, sign me up.
I like
Because his IG followers grow and grow, and he is now second only to Odell in NFL IG followers.
Our doesn't grow as much corn. If that
Really?
joke is corny.
Okay? But you know what? a lot of middle America loves corn.
They
right?
do.
They do?
They do.
Okay, so
Oh, golly gee
they're
whiz.
fine. Okay.
Golly gee whiz,
Okay.
Tom.
So they're loving them some Tom Brady. And furthermore, I think a whole lot of people are just realizing, man, this guy is all-time greatest. He just keeps on keeping on winning Super Bowls. And they realize he broke the Super Bowl record of 505 yards passing and got outscored by Nick Foles, or he should have won that one. He scored enough, 33 points? Should have won that Super Bowl.
No, he shouldn't.
Huh?
No, he shouldn't.
Well, he should have. That should qualify. His coach let him down.
Don't do that. See, there you go.
Well, he just did.
Don't do that.
So people are realizing he's not only great, he's great in clutch time.
Well, I'm going to get me a jersey.
Yeah?
I'm going to go get me a Tom Brady jersey.
Are you? Okay, because you've finally been won over. You've finally seen the light. Because everybody is buying Tom Jersey stuff.
You
That's
see it
what's
on
happening.
eBay.
Yeah. So he just dominates. And when you look at the list, the top 10, they all make sense to me because Odell is number 2. Well, obviously, you need a Browns jersey,
Well, exactly
right?
right. So switching teams is,
Okay.
you know.
All right, and then you have the
Odell makes
up-and-comers, Darnold. Darnold's really high.
I was
Maybe-
surprised by
I
that,
know.
but New
Yeah,
York. I mean,
Okay, it's a New York
it is.
thing,
I
but
think
he's
that's what it is.
on the verge,
But
Is this
I
gonna be-
want to. It'd be very interesting to see if, let's just say, a Dak Prescott, a Carson Wentz, a Patrick Mahomes, someone like that, were to win the Super Bowl,
How
and
it would
see what the numbers would look like. See if Tom Brady would still be on the top.
Mahomes is 6 right now.
Okay. All right.
Baker 5.
Yeah, Baker 5 because he's on the verge.
But
He's rising.
most of the guys on your list, I didn't take a look at. It's probably quarterbacks, aren't they?
Except for Zeke and Saquon at the bottom, they're 9 and 10.
9 and 10.
Right?
AB 8 as well.
Well, AB, that's a good one. Yep, but again,
Change
new
teams.
team.
Yeah, new team.
Okay, so everybody on this list makes sense. Who's third on the list? I can't read my writing.
Khalil Mack.
Oh, Khalil Mack,
up and
that's who it
comer,
is.
yeah.
Okay, up,
Wow.
new team,
That's
sort of.
interesting too, though.
Yeah, okay, all right. The shock is Tom Brady, for another year, second straight year, is dominating all the sales.
Wentz good at next year.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wentz?
Yeah.
He's not even within smelling.
He got
distance.
hurt.
Yeah.
Why is that so hard for you to
I
understand?
did have a hard time why Dak didn't make this list.
No, you didn't have no hard time. You
Carson was 13.
where was Dak?
I don't know.
Dak was lower than that. Had to be.
19 was Dak.
What?
Sorry.
Everybody's got a
But I
4
just-
jersey.
I
They already
just
got
have
them.
facts.
They don't
With the
need new
Cowboys?
ones.
Facts.
They
Yeah,
don't
they do.
need a new one.
Oh, you could never have
Plus,
enough.
Dak is not a big social guy, so he doesn't, he doesn't reveal
I thought he would be
himself.
leading. He got 15 commercials, so they see him every 30 seconds.
Okay.
How many jerseys do you have?
Dak?
Yeah.
I got a couple.
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
We've seen a few. Not in the trash.
And
anymore.
hat, sweatpants,
True.
sweat jacket.
We've seen a few.
We went to dinner when he was in Bristol. He come out in cowboy uniform. I almost didn't get in the car.
I think somebody just made
Setting
up
the
a
tone.
story. Somebody just made up
Did you
a
have on
story.
cowboy paraphernalia?
At a dinner?
Yeah.
I don't remember going to dinner.
We went to this Italian restaurant.
We
What was that?
did?
You always had an Italian restaurant.
Selective memory.
You know
over
what?
here.
You are rearranging the truth.
He had on Cowboys hat, cowboy sweats, some white shoes with a blue check. I'm like, come on, man.
I just got me a new white cowboy hat. It is so cool.
Really?
Yeah, you'll see it.
It'll be in the trash by midway through the
no, it
season.
won't.
It'll be in the trash midway through the season.
I got the coolest T-shirt. It has Dallas Cowboys down the back, sideways, all the way to the bottom.
So you're the number one
Yeah,
supporter over here
right.
for all the merchandise.
Yep.
It's good to know.
But you ain't got nothing
Step
Tom
up my
Brady.
game.
But all you do is hype Tom Brady up. You the hype man.
I don't. The world does.
You are to Tom Brady what Bundini Brown was to Muhammad Ali.
That is.
Yeah, that is you. You the hype man.
Okay, but was Ali true hype? Did he live up to the hype? Yes. Did Tom Brady live up to hype? Yes. It's true hype.
Will LeBron James live up to the hype? Yes.
Not last year.
Yes.
Wrong.
Yes.
Sorry. He
You
plays
tried
for the
to raise
dysfunctional laughingstock Lakers.
They ain't laughing stock, but they're a little dysfunction going
They're a
on.
little
dysfunction is good though.
You didn't even get to wear all your Lakers stuff last
Oh, I
year.
will this
You
year.
tried, and then
Well,
you
I'm
just
glad. I'm glad because I
couldn't
was
find your
about
moment.
to. I was about to get a 6 jersey, but Nike put the kibosh on that for a year.
You gonna get a red number 2 jersey?
I'm not gonna be able to do that.
All right, we're going to talk about the Browns. Baker did come in 5 there, but the Browns are actually talking about winning a Super Bowl, so maybe his number would change. We'll discuss what they are saying next.
No mercy.
The Browns have something new to face as they enter this season. High expectations. Cleveland is coming off a 7-win season, but they'll have a second year of Baker Mayfield and the huge addition of Odell Beckham Jr. to look forward to. Freddie Kitchens talked about the team's expectations yesterday. Take a listen.
I want everybody to understand this. Our goal here with the Cleveland Browns, as long as I'm here, will always be to win the Super Bowl. All right? Now, that's the last time I'm going to say that. Just know and make it a given that that's what I believe to my core, is to win the Super Bowl. Now, you don't do that by talking about it, and you don't do that by outside expectations. You do that by putting the expectations on how you prepare on a day in and day out basis. If you're not going to jump out of the airplane, don't put the parachute on. And I want people that have put the parachute on.
Put the parachute on. All right, that's good to know. We said expectations there a lot as well. We are joined by Fox NFL analyst Mark Schlereth. Mark,
yes.
Do you like those comments from Freddie? What you
Well,
got?
you know, when you read it, it doesn't give you a lot of context.
That's
When he says it, you understand what he's talking about. Right. Our expectation here, we want to win Super Bowls. And Freddie Kitchens, I like Freddie Kitchens. He's a great one. I really enjoyed, like, my getting to meet him and talking to the Cleveland Browns and watching them practice and then calling one of their games. I really think that they are one of the most talented teams in football. I don't think there's any question. We both know this, or we all know this. Like, character drives talent towards greatness. It's the reverse of that equation is never true. It's never the talent that drives character. You have got that. Talent's not enough to win. Mm-hmm. Like, you've got to have guys that are willing to sacrifice for one another. I will remind you this. The last time they won the division, it wasn't the AFC North. It was the AFC Central in 1989. Teams that have won the AFC Central and the AFC North before or since Cleveland, the Houston Oilers won it. Is that right? The Jacksonville Jaguars, they're no longer in the division. The Tennessee Titans, no longer in the division, have won since the Cleveland Browns won in 89. So, like, the goal, Super Bowl, like, that's out there a little bit, right? I mean, let's get over 500. Maybe let's win our division first. They've got a ton of talent, though. I will tell you that. Ton of talent, but talent's not enough to win in this league. You got to have guys that are willing to sacrifice for one another, and we'll see if they have that.
For me, I think he's trying to instill confidence. He's trying to let the guys know what the expectations are. I expect you to come in and practice. I expect you to meet well. I expect you to practice hard. And I expect us to get better on a week-in and week-out basis. Skip, this is not new to you, Fred, to the Cleveland Browns, Freddie. Everybody have those exact same expectations. It's the same for the Rams, for the Chargers, obviously for the Patriots. Everybody has those expectations. But what are you willing to do? I can tell you this. Me and this man played together from 95 to 99. And not one time did Mike Shanahan ever mention Super Bowl until we was actually preparing for the Super Bowl. I played 2 years in Baltimore. Not one time did Brian Billick mention the Super Bowl until we got to at least we got to the playoffs. Win your division, get a home game, and they're going to go from there. I get it. See, I've been on the parachute. You know, I done jumped out of a plane, Skip Bayless. Like it ain't nothing. As a matter of fact, jumped out of a plane into the stadium at Mile High. That's what I did.
I was there.
That's what I did.
I saw it.
What?
What a grandstander you are.
That's crazy to me.
No, I got to make an entrance. I just can't come and walk out there on the field. Everybody can do that.
What was this for? For a football game or for?
Actually, I went to the ring. I was going into the ring of honor.
Okay.
Really?
Honorary captain. I watched it. Rolled in with the Air Force guy. Jumped in. Yeah.
That's
I would have been more impressed if you had jumped without a parachute.
Yeah.
that.
Maybe if it had been a pool down there, maybe a 100-foot pool, I might have been doing.
Maybe.
I will say real quick, with this, there's so many expectations with this team. It is much easier, just human nature, to deal with failure than it is to deal with success. And they feel like a team that had some success last year. They went 7-9. They finished the season pretty strong. People pretty excited about this football team. This feels like an abject disaster waiting to happen to me. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
So, to your first point, I love listening to Freddie Kitchens. He's become my favorite interview in all the NFL. I will love watching these Browns. I would love playing for Freddie Kitchens. I think he'd be a lot of fun to play for until it went south. And then I'm not sure how he would react because Freddie Kitchens is the most astounding phenomenon I can ever remember in all my years covering this league in path to head coach to hot team. Because I'm going to remind everybody, until mid-year last year, when Hugh Jackson, Todd Haley got fired, Freddie Kitchens had never even been a coordinator in this league, not even an offensive coordinator one time. He'd been in the league for 13 years. He spent 11 with the Arizona Cardinals and toiled in obscurity. He was the quarterback coach for a while. Last year, he got maybe almost demoted to running back coach. I don't know, but he was never the coordinator.
Right.
And obviously, he has never been a head coach in his life. And he is simply the most unknown Alabama quarterback in the history of Crimson Tide football. Am I right? Because I can't remember him. He played for Gene Stallings and Mike Dubose, and he started for 3 years. And when he finished, he had the 5th most completions in the history of the school. It was like pretty good, you know? And he played in 3 bowl games, all minor bowl games. But still, do you remember him?
I do
Because
not.
I do not remember Freddie Kitchens playing quarterback at Alabama. And now he doesn't really look like he used to be a quarterback. And so you're like, wow, it's jarring. And so obviously he's never, ever been close to being a head coach. And now he's the head coach of the hottest team in the league. And now he is proclaiming Super Bowl. He's at least talking to where you're leaping to the conclusion. Wait a second, are you talking about winning the Super Bowl? And it's telling to me that you're saying Mike Shanahan never even said the term Super Bowl. That Brian Billick never even mentioned Super Bowl, and Freddie Kitchens is just openly saying, hey, I want this on the record right now. I'm not going to say it again, but my goal, as long as I'm the head coach, I want to win the Super Bowl. He didn't say we're going to, but he said he wants to win the Super Bowl. That's pretty outrageous expectations to put on a team that already has too many expectations.
But here's the thing. He didn't have to say it. We knew what our expectations were. Well,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in Baltimore, Skip, now we had a more veteran team. See, when the coach said something, we felt obligated to go back Brian Billick up. When he called out Tennessee, he called out Jacksonville or whomever, it was our obligation. He says, I don't care what you say. Just remember now, what you say during the week. Now, we're going to have to back that up on Sunday. I'm like, we can say, because, I came from a place where Mark didn't want me to talk to the D lineman. He like, telling on me over there.
Because he wants to pick a fight with the guy I got to play against. That's what I want.
Well, I can't have it because the guy that he played against wanted to pick a fight with me.
Okay.
Wait. Everybody wanted to pick a fight with you, not just the guy I was playing against.
I was minding my own business. You know me. Didn't say a word. I'm going out there to catch a pass. That's all I want to do. Catch a few passes, go back to the sideline, drink my Gatorade. That's what I want to do. They bother me.
That's all you were drinking was Gatorade?
That's it. On the sideline back then. Back then I was in my body back then. Skip, I was doing push-ups on the sideline and everything.
I believe that Freddie Kitchens, 5-10 years from now, will look back at his first year as the head coach of the Browns and say, you know what?
What was I thinking?
I should have tempered the expectations a little bit. I should have low-keyed it coming out of the blocks because Baker's going to talk and Odell's going to talk Super Bowls. It's how they're built. It's how they're made. It's up to me to kind of manage the expectations and keep it to a low roar because I'm the head coach. I can't escalate the expectations, right?
Right.
Because when he utters those 2 words, Super Bowl, you know what Browns Nation's going to do?
You're afraid we're going to the Super Bowl.
We're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It don't work like that. Just because he said it, that doesn't mean you're going.
Okay.
That goes
But I agree with you.
Like you said, let's win the division, get ourselves a home. That's what we talked about. We need to win this division, get a home game in the playoffs.
Those quotes read worse than they heard.
Yeah, absolutely. I read the quotes. I was like, I rolled my eyes like, you got to be kidding me, right?
But his
then you
passion,
hear it.
and
I know, it's real.
I'm a Freddie Kitchens fan, and I am a fan of the talent and the work ethic and the things that I saw when I was there and the way they had played. Like, I'm a fan of the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield was a guy that I questioned. Baker Mayfield, he is a great young player. They've got roster-wise, on paper, they have one of the most talented teams in football. But I like to say this. If the games were played on paper, I'd have spent a lot less time laying on an operating table, right? They're not played on paper.
No. No. They will be watched this
season. You didn't get a paper cut from that guy over
right,
there, right?
No.
Yeah.
He injured me.
Yeah, I did.
I'm sorry, he went the other way. That's right.
Wow.
Get out of my way.
Okay.
You got to get out of my way. I'll put some
Tougher than
Rydell on your cheek, bud.
Good to know.
No, that cast on his wrist, and he was pull. Alex said, "Nah, you can't let you pull. You can't injure our players."
Hey, once I started pull, there was no stop until I hit something. Okay, I don't have brakes. Like a runaway truck.
Did you hold it against him through the offseason?
No.
No?
Huh.
No.
Okay.
Okay, I'm glad to see we're
That was
okay here.
that was in '95, and then next year I'll come back, do what we did, and then we two back to back,
Yeah.
Maybe because it ended that way. That always helps. Mark, thank you so
you.
much for
Thank
being
you.
here, as
job.
always. Is Big Ben done as an elite quarterback? We will discuss his future next.
No mercy.
This week, The Athletic asked 55 NFL coaches and execs to rank every starting quarterback in the NFL. Ben Roethlisberger was ranked 7th, but not many people were complimentary of the 37-year-old. One defensive coordinator said he's getting older and can't carry a team anymore, and one exec said he can't believe the Steelers allowed Ben to publicly call out teammates in the past. Shannon, do you agree with all that?
What have we said about that? That wasn't me.
What have you said about that?
I'm not that GM that said the criticism publicly. Skip, I disagree. I still believe he can get the job done. Remember last year, he threw for the 7th most yards in NFL history, 5,100 yards. And he did that with what we, at the time, I thought Le'Veon Bell was the best running back in football. He played the entire season without him. He played a lot of the season with him and Antonio Brown not in the best space. I don't question his ability. I question his character. I question his leadership. And it seems to me that he's tried to work on some of those things because, it reported that he took some of his teammates to his lake house in Georgia.
Yep.
He'd never done that before.
Nope.
So obviously he knows there's some things that he needs to get better at. And the thing that I love about players, if you know there's something you need to do better, you try to do it, I can work with that. I can live with that. So I don't question Ben. I still believe he can make every throw. He's still a tough guy to sack. Getting to Ben Roethlisberger is not the issue. Because you can diagram plays, the diagram is a scheme to get to him. It's getting his big butt on the ground. Because he still can shed you, Skip, and even if you're trying to drag him down, can throw the ball. So I have no question whether or not he can get it done. I question his leadership. And if he's fixed that, Steelers will be just fine.
I do not question leadership or anything else about this man. And these quotes angered me because they're just flat out wrong. The quote about, this is from a defensive coordinator, he's getting older and cannot carry it like that anymore. Yes, he can. He's 37 years of age. This will be his 16th season, but all he did last year was lead the NFL in completions and attempts and yards, but that's pretty great. That's throwing the heck out of the football. Yeah. And all I know for sure is this team lived under the clouds created by Antonio and Le'Veon over the last 2 years, but especially last year. Did Ben handle it right? He did not. Did he call out Antonio publicly? You can't do it, but that marriage had hit the wall. It was time for them to go their separate ways, and obviously, as we always conclude, the quarterback's going nowhere. You're going. If you take on the quarterback, you are out.
Yep.
And Antonio is in Oakland. God bless him. They're going to be better. They're going to have
Le'Veon's a jet.
He's a jet. God bless him. He's still creating ruckuses on the internet. He's still going back and forth with people on the internet, which means he's still a victim, a prisoner of the reactions he gets on the internet, which I don't like, but he's still stuck in that. And yet he's not a Steeler. And I still say that Antonio's criticism, which has been relentless of Ben and the organization, will drive this team like nothing else, that Antonio is going to be the reason this team will bounce back and win the division this year.
Well, they better because Mike Tomlin, that's not good.
Okay,
you can't have that level of talent and miss the playoff.
Okay. And I still think, I know Mark Schlereth was just sitting here talking about how talented the Browns are. They might have the most talented roster. I still don't believe it's more talented than this roster. And I'm here to say, if you give me James Conner and Jalen Samuels, who, by the way, just lit up the Patriots last year. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And that kid Benny Snell from Kentucky that they drafted, they got a three-headed monster going at running back.
Skip, I don't know, talent for talent, player for player, Cleveland might have more. Because you look at Odell, Landry, and Njoku, you look at Nick Chubb, you look at Kareem Hunt that's coming back, Baker Mayfield, and then you go to the defensive side and what they've added. Skip, I don't know. Player for player, they might be deeper than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, whether or not.
Who led the NFL in sacks last year?
Oh, Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Well,
Huh.
they
got this kid named Watt who's just the brother, but he's still a Watt.
Yeah.
Right?
But you look at what they've added. Myles Garrett. They have Olivier Vernon now. They drafted Greedy Williams. They had Denzel Ward. Skip, they're going to be to deal with. Now, whether or not the expectations kill more dreams than anything.
Maybe.
The expectations of the Browns, like you said, they have some of the best odds to get to and win the Super Bowl 10-1.
Who did I tell you was the steal of the first round of the draft? Out of the University of Michigan, Devin Bush, who will step right in at linebacker, and he will take over that defense, and he will change its mindset, change the way it attacks, change the culture on defense, because it's gotten a little lackadaisical, a little lazy, a little not as locked in as it used to be. He's going to bring some steel curtain back to Pittsburgh.
That back end, what scares me, with all those sacks, they still gave up a lot of big plays.
Okay, but they still got Joe Hayden, and they went and got Steven Nelson, albeit a Kansas City corner, but it's an upgrade from what they had at corner. And I think you're underestimating the receiver core, because I still think it can be spectacular.
You think it's better than the Cleveland?
I just think it'll measure up. It'll hang right in there. And watch James Washington. Jenny covered him at Oklahoma State. I watched him a whole lot.
Oh, the one that being criticized?
Explosive. He did. But he was just a rookie. Watch. He'll become one of the best deep threats. He'll become the new Deshaun. He's got that kind of deep speed.
Yeah, I think he has the potential.
That kind of ability to adjust and catch it over shoulder. Watch this. Vance McDonald, you like him? Would you take him over Njoku? I would. Yeah.
Well, you remember last guy they had, Sammy Coates. You remember he's supposed to change lives. He changed your life?
All right. Okay, but fine. But he's not there anymore.
And
they got another Michigan kid named Zach Gentry. Jenny covered him a lot, and he's like 6'8".
Hold on. They got all these kids. They got Michigan, all these kids in the NFL. Why they can't beat Ohio State? Why they can't win a title? What's going on?
They were all hurt.
Gentry
they all
got hurt in that game.
Everybody got
hurt.
Devin Bush was out in that game.
I was following both those guys.
They went down.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Ohio State was hurting them like that?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, it happens. Who won me 5 cases of Diet Mountain Dew last year? The University of Michigan. Khaki pants. He won me 5 cases.
You lucked into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that cream puff schedule early.
Okay.
But now Urban's not there. We're going to see what old khaki pants going to do. You picking them to win the Big Ten?
Nope.
Why not?
Well, I got to see how it shapes up.
What do you mean?
I am picking the Steelers to win this division. You want to bet a case on it?
We already got a case.
We do?
Yes.
Who you got?
I got the Browns.
You got the Browns to win the division?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's make it 2.
No, not 2.
I got to see how things turn out. I might add 1 to it.
Really?
Yeah.
When can we make changes? It's when the season starts.
Speaking of to it, I've got even Steven to it. So I've got it all over here. Yeah.
Okay, well, considering how negative the news was for the Steelers all last season, I honestly hope you're right, because it felt like every day was something new that was negative, and it was exhausting for them.
I believe that Ben has a real good shot at winning MVP this year.
Boy, not
That's
Tom
my
Brady?
early pick. Well, he never puts up MVP numbers.
Oh, well, so
he just wins games.
So why he win the MVP then?
Huh?
If he don't put up MVP
Well,
numbers.
Super Bowl MVP, does that count?
No, not the regular season.
Okay.
What did Mahomes retire?
Huh?
Did he retire?
I don't know. Just
Not
watch
yet.
Ben. He's going to throw one big party this year.
I mean, look at that speed. They still got my little guy. Still there. Travis Kelce, Hartman run 4.3. They loaded. Sammy Watkins, Tyreek.
Okay. Well, I didn't say they weren't loaded, but so is Pittsburgh.
Could he throw another 50 spot? Could he do it back to back?
Maybe.
That's the question.
Well, you know if he do 50 back to back, it's over, right? You know he gonna win the Super Bowl MVP. I mean the regular season.
I don't know.
And that's a show sign going.
Okay. I got Ben right here, right now.
Right here, right now. 37 years young. We'll have to see. Does Earl Thomas need to apologize to Pete Carroll after what happened last season? We'll discuss all that next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. Remember last season when Earl Thomas flipped off Pete Carroll while being carted off because of a broken leg? Well, the issues included a contract dispute, and yesterday Thomas did not backtrack, telling ESPN, quote, "I didn't regret doing that to Pete." By the way, the Ravens play in Seattle in October. So, Shannon, do you like Earl standing firm?
Well, you know, that's not something I would have done, Skip. I wouldn't have flipped the bird off, but he owned it. Don't pretend like I'm sorry, because you didn't. You meant to do it because you felt, and he mentioned, that Pete lied to him. And I'm out here and I get injured, so I know now I'm not returning. I think Earl Thomas wanted to finish his career because he saw everyone else Skip leave. He saw Cam Chancellor, he saw Sherm, he saw all these guys, Bennett, all these other guys leaving around him. He wanted to be, he and Bobby Wagner be the last two men standing. Well, once he broke that leg, he knew that wasn't going to happen anymore. No. And he felt that he could see the writing on the wall for the very first time because he said Pete lied to him, which leads me to believe, if you're to believe what Earl is saying, that they told him we're going to get something done. Well, we didn't get anything done. I broke my leg, and now I know I'm going to be out of here. So that was the frustration just built up. But, hey, he did it. He owned it. I can live with that.
So unlike number 2 and Paul George yesterday, this guy just said, yep, I did it, and I meant it, and I'll never take it back. Right? Earl was being Earl. That's why I so badly wanted Earl to be on my team, the Dallas Cowboys, but unfortunately, we thought we had the deal done. Jerry got the rug jerked out from under him at mid-year, and then Earl goes and gets $32 million guaranteed from the Baltimore Ravens, so there's no way we could have fitted that under a cap that's going to be Dak, Zeke, and Amari, right?
Yeah, voted by Byron Jones.
Okay, well, maybe Byron Jones, but here's the point. Is Pete Carroll not taking a beating lately? Because it started with beast mode in the last play of the Super Bowl. You let Russell throw it. Okay, it started there. I thought he was like the ultimate players coach. I thought they would have died for Pete Carroll. Not anymore.
Nope.
Right?
Skip, I knew from that point on, I said it's never going to be the same. They're never going to have the same trust and faith in Pete Carroll. I said it that I had a podcast back then, Skip, man, called Mouthing Off. You ought to check it out sometime.
Mouthing Off?
Yeah, that was
you?
Yeah.
Mouthing Off?
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought of you as having a big...
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again, same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. Have a good day.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.